Good afternoon, everybody. We're on Crash to Desktop Watch today, Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's great to have you here. We've got GSX back reinstalled and with a couple of tweaks at Bristol as well for a bit of a profile I'm going to try and create for the airport with the Pilot Plus scenery on GSX, which will end up on flightsim.to. So we'll test out the beginnings of that little mini project that I've decided to undertake. We're in the pmdg 737 today, really looking forward to that as well. Fantastic aircraft by a long stretch. We've just started boarding, as you've just heard, and we're checking out the new iniBuilds Ibiza scenery, which is releasing very soon for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Throughout the journey today, we're going to be dropping 2 copies to 2 lucky subscribers during the stream. We're giving 2 copies away, courtesy of iniBuilds. Now, of course, we know Simwings have released a very nice Ibiza airport scenery, so this is direct competition with that package. It'll be interesting to know throughout today what you guys think, which one you think is the best and the reasons why. Share it in the live chat. If you're new, welcome aboard. Please do hit subscribe, press the like button, and give us a little wave in the live chat as well if you are tuning in for the very first time. Ibiza. Not sure on the price yet. I know the release is in just a few days, and today the embargo for this scenery was lifted, which is why we're live here today to take part in this little preview stream. And what iniBuilds have done is create a nice atmosphere around the airport, including off in the distance. We can't really zoom in too far, but they've added some custom buildings further out as well, which kind of enhance the overall look and feel of the airport. Now, you might be thinking, good grief, the environment around here looks shocking. Ryan, thank you, buddy. Member for 5 months, superb content as always. Keep up the good work, thank you very much. Now that's because we've got all of the online services switched off as a potential fix for these crashed desktops. Zato, hello to you. Just looking at the live chat for the members. Doctor on board, Sir William, welcome. Jack, Badger, Craig J, Ian, Barris, welcome. Joey Goofy, Matthew F, David A, Gav, good evening to you. Neil Coupland, the commentator, hi. David Bartley, welcome folks, and everyone else. So what we've done today to combat the fact that we've had to turn off the online services, that'll be Coco Lada there in the Mad Dog. I'll put my mortgage on it. We've actually installed an enhancement mod called MSFS 2020 Map Enhancement, and we're feeding in Bing photogrammetry into the sim externally because we've turned off the photogrammetry inside the sim menu. In addition to that, I've purchased Rex Weather Force Pro today to feed in some live weather as well, because sadly my go-to in the past and real weather doesn't work anymore. Coupland, Neil. It's my accent coming out there, isn't it? Philip, good evening to you. I hope you're well. It's been a while. Let me just change this weird R&B music that's suddenly come about on the channel there. We are on VATSIM Zato, yes. So as you can see, what this scenery offers is a lot of custom ground textures. The apron work and everything's been tweaked as well. Looks really good. And actually, performance here is very, very nice indeed. Comparison to the Simwings version, it's difficult. I think they both offer something quite nice. It'd be difficult to mix between the two. Farish, yeah, we've got aerosol on. Look at that. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? And in fact, in a way, I think we did this exact same thing just now with the Simwings Ibiza scenery. Interestingly enough. It looks very similar. If you experience any lag when it's on transition, Faris says, just disable injection and re-inject again. Interesting. Thank you for that. It's first time using Rex, folks. Faris suggested it and has helped quite a bit with setting all that up. We've got a nice interior, but I don't think we can go in because we get the... Oh, we can. Look at this. I mean, the adverts in here look fantastic, don't they? Very crisp interior to the airport scenery. Easy jet gate there. We just rotate it around the other side. What do we got? Oh, the interior here looks so detailed and crisp. Now, interestingly, I want to know what football's on. Paris versus Real Madrid, by the looks of it. I mean, the fact I can read that on a digital screen, digitized in a sim, is pretty remarkable, isn't it? And there we are, the Jet 2 737. So let's work our way through the airport terminal. And we're going to punch out through the TUI gate. I think it's the TUI gate. Oops. Overzealous there with that one. Here we are. Boarding's in progress at the moment with GSX working away. Acciona giving us the ground handling this afternoon. And there's our first screenshot of the day. Looks really cool, doesn't it? The tower is custom. I mean, the detail's fantastic. I would be very torn between this and the SimWings version. BKG Blueface, I find out the crash to desktop problems. It's Microsoft's gaming services, sadly, yet again. Whether it's injecting live weather or some sort of corrupted Bing photogrammetry file, by going into your general settings, data, and then you turn the online services to off. That seems to apparently fix it for most. Not all, but most. So we're testing that today. We've turned it all off. We've reinstalled GSX. And we're feeding in photogrammetry and stuff from elsewhere. So it looks a little bit better. And a little bit less like FS 2004. Dead impressed with this. It has to be said. Looks very, very nice indeed. And it's nice to have... GSX back up and running. A little bit later today, folks, this evening, myself and Emmy over at 737NG will have a video going live simultaneously across both the channels. We basically had a bit of a discussion this morning, or early this afternoon into the morning, about GSX and about why initially it looked as if potentially it was GSX causing it, and how since we've actually found that it's not. So yeah, do stay tuned for that. It's going to be quite cool. Certainly very nice to collaborate with Emmy, very well respected member of the community, and of course a member of the pmdg tech team. He has today released the very first preview. He's got exclusive preview rights of the 737-800 at the moment, which is releasing imminently by the sounds of it. So I can't wait to get my hands on that. It's going to be very exciting. The 737-700, as we know, is by far my favourite aircraft in the sim at the moment. And by a long shot, in fact. I don't think it's got much competition. It has to be, yeah, in my opinion. But yeah, I really, really enjoy it. Just getting our fueling and things sorted out, nice and accurate here. We've got our alternate fin res, which is 2.2 actually in this instance. Nice. Diversion alternate is Heathrow today. Flight level 380 is our cruise, and our average wind 292 at 42. It'll be interesting to see how this works in comparison to the Fenix yesterday, because I'll be honest, the VNAV yesterday and the Fenix was atrocious. It was absolutely shocking on that ILS approach, wasn't it? Borderline unflyable. We're not sure if that's because it wasn't working very nicely with the other bits, the fact it wasn't live weather, but who knows. Departing Ibiza, runway 06, and we want the Apama to Foxtrot departure. We'll execute that and we'll check the legs page. We'll compare that against our Navigraph charts, which is what I've got up at the moment as well on another screen, and that looks pretty accurate as well. Our performance calculations are giving us flat 5, takeoff profile 2. We go back to the takeoff page here. LEIB, winds 110 degrees at 7 knots. And I'll get back to the live chat in a second. We'll do 1,000. I think it was 1,000. Doc's sent it to me, but I've misplaced the message, and I've turned Discord off for the stream. That'll do, and it's dry runway as well. We're going to go for flaps 5. Check the centre of gravity, 7.13 for trim. Wowzers, that's right up towards the very limits of the green band almost. That's quite different, isn't it, trim-wise? 139 for V2. Adding the 10 for V2 plus 10 for the climb out is going to give us 149 knots for the initial climb out. And the runway heading initially 061 degrees. The initial climb for this departure is 6,000 feet. We can pop that on there now. I think that is most of it done. POS in it done. Routing is complete. Chanex 14 Yankee Oscar is our call sign today. And we've done our takeoff page. 380. 380. Cool. We'll go into route data. We'll get our wins. And I'll just catch up with the live chat as well. Jackson, the TUI Alpha Star, hello to you. Alec, good afternoon. Ryan, hello, welcome. What are the differences in size for Ryan? It's going to be the 737-800 I think you're referring to there. So it's a little bit longer, therefore the risk of tail strike is a little bit more prominent. So you've got to be careful on that climb out of the rotation, sorry, to make sure that you don't hit the tail on the runway. BKG Blueface, yes. So you can turn off online functionality and it only affects the elements within the sim. So like your MSFS multiplayer, your MSFS real live weather, all that sort of thing. But you can feed in and inject weather elsewhere. You can inject photogrammetry from elsewhere, which is what we're doing today, as a bit of a test to see what happens really. And if it works for me, you guys can give it a go. I'll be your guinea pig for the day. Why not? Okay, let's refer to our checklists. Park brake needs to be set. Battery standby power, we've done all of that as well. We've done our hydraulic pumps, window heat and all that sort of thing on. Packs are on auto, isolation valves auto, and FMC is now set. We'll just have a look at the progress of GSX at the moment. He says. Right, so what we'll do in this instance, we'll go to the system tray, and I'm just going to restart QATL, which is going to basically kill GSX, and we're going to restart it. These, hello to you, welcome. I've not noticed any performance hit, to be honest, with using GSX. Ryan, it should be pretty much the same. There we are. I mean, that's all pretty much done now, isn't it? If we just go outside, we've got to close that, and we've got to close the door, because I think all of that was complete, really. So we'll use this entry forward close, forward aft, and forward. Return, ground services. We can release the ground power because we've moved over to APU. Just trying to find where the... It's not those. It's not those. Okay, it's gone away now anyway. Good stuff. So we closed the door and that's retracted it. Little quirks I'm trying to get used to. Yo, hello buddy. Shaquille, welcome. 2.5 hours. I think we're ready to go, folks. So what we'll do is we'll recycle this and we're going to prepare to push back. So prepare for push and departure. Now, we want to face... that way. And we got it wrong yesterday, didn't we? Or the day before, a couple of days back. We're going to go 1228. There we are. Make sure our chocks are removed as well. So we've done takeoff data, fueling, loading, boardings complete, transponders set 2000 at the moment. We don't have any ATC. Tug's coming in. Just keeping it active, keep the box open there. Altimeter's 1013 at the moment as well. Landing altitude, pressure panel set, and the MCP set for our departure. 1178 for Ibiza. Let's tune that to be good. That's set. 075. And initially, actually, after departure, we want to do 075 as well, which takes us away from the island slightly. So let's set that too. Make sure the collar's on max. Yeah, nose left, tail right, because we've got to flip it, don't we? Because it should be nose right, tail left. But it doesn't work like that. It's actually from the cockpit perspective, as Chaz is saying there. It's been a little slow today, folks. But that's fine by me. We're in no rush. As long as it works, it's all that matters. Continue pushback. And it's nose right. Tail left. Nose left, tail right. We've got to flip it. Ibiza traffic, Chanex 14 Yankee Oscar, stand 29, QNH 1013, push and start to face west. Backs off. I'm watching the N2s. We're going to let GSX do its thing, and we're going to see where the aeroplane goes. There we are. It's the opposite, so we've got to flip it. It's frustrating. But as Neil said, in this instance, we've got to go nose left, tail right, because it should be from the tug driver's perspective, but it's not. It's actually from the flight deck's perspective. GSX have got it wrong, so we want the nose to be steered left, which is what's happening now. Well, sorry, right, which is what's happening now, but it's left from the perspective of the pilot instead, if that makes sense, hopefully. It's got us lovely on the centre line, though, by the looks of it, potentially. There's our wing walker. Getting horrendous performance, though. So I'm just going to go back inside. Oh dear, it does stress me out. Engine 1 start. Always nil. So here comes the dispatcher. Going to remove his pin. Oh my good grief. Fuel pumps. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is really thick of me, isn't it? Great spot. I'm getting sidetracked thinking about GSX and getting all that working. That's a great point, Uma. Thank you. Now it's asking for whether or not we got good push. So we're going to go back into the menu, confirm good engine start. And from here, we're going to put gens 1 and 2 on. We're going to transfer the bus across. While we're down the bottom, we'll flick those to continuous, and we're going to have a look at the gens at the very top of the screen, just to make sure we're generating power in both Gen 1 and Gen 2. That is the case. Probe heats can go on. Working down the middle stack there, that's all set as required, and then top to bottom on the very far right, packs go auto, isolation valve goes auto. We're going to turn the APU bleed off and the engine bleeds on, and then from there, oops, wrong way, we need to turn the APU off. That's going to run for a couple of minutes. We pop the taxi lights on. Flat 5, which is 3 notches for the departure. Elevator trim is already set. Flight controls full and free is the next check. So system tab, full right, full left, all the way back, back to neutral, back forwards, neutral, rudder checks, full right, back to neutral, and full left, back to neutral. We go back here. It's a little bit stuttery. And then we're going to do LNAV. Sorry. Light directors 1 and 2 need to go on first. Should have done that before pushback. LNAV armed, VNAV armed, auto thrust armed. And then we're going to go recall. Engine T's P's. Turn the bottom screen off. Taxi lights are on. Off he goes. Now, watch him. The second I go brakes off and I start to apply power, he disappears. Once we go moving. There we go. So that's GSX saying, cool, they're moving. Let's kill the process. Ibiza traffic, Chanex 14 Yankee Oscars taxiing to Hold Point Hotel 2, runway 06 via the apron, Bravo Charlie. Ibiza traffic. Got a config warning for the centre tanks. Let's get those on. Now that config warning's gone away, right down the bottom there. Let's see what we've got on the Luke Air tool for the announcements, shall we, as well, very quickly. Just a quick thought. I'm going to try and use the sim as normally as possible, basically, because if we can get it all the way to the other side, we know it's not us. Crikey, that's loud.
As long as they stay in flight mode, as you cannot send texts, make calls or access the internet while you're on board.
Hopefully, sorry, sim audio, good grief. I was doing something earlier on, that's why it's got revoked. So do let me know if that is better. Can't believe I forgot that.
Instructions and cabin safety signage. We also just like to tell you we can make sure everyone on board today has a great flight.
Shuts excited for the 737-800s. Awesome. JM, yes, there is a big bug with online services. Swamp, thank you for letting me know. I can't believe I've not seen that in the chat already.
Have a lovely flight.
That was very short and sweet. Yeah, fiddling around with NVIDIA filters at the moment, which is why the atmospherics and the visuals and stuff look quite different. No idea what this guy's doing, but we're going to hold position here just to work out what's happening.
Ibiza traffic, Osprey 5563, behind the EasyJet. Push and start, stand 28, Ibiza traffic.
Is echoing now, fantastic. Is the Orbex Belfast worth buying, Transport Gamers asking? That's going to be the Pyre Devco Belfast scenery. Absolutely, it's really good. Poseidon says online services are now fixed. Interesting. Is that something that they've just mentioned, is it? Shaquille is asking, is there something special you must do to get Jetways to work with Payware products? In what sense?
Ibiza traffic correction, I'll push and start behind the taxiing.
I've got to say, this scenery is very, very nice. I think it'd be very hard to decide between Simwings and iniBuilds scenery. Shall we configure and prepare for the giveaway, folks? We're going to give away 2 copies today. You've got to be a subscriber to the channel, of course, which most of you are. And then you've got to answer 1 question correctly, which we'll ask in a few moments from now. Really easy. Effectively, you'll go into the pot to win 1 of 2 copies, courtesy of our friends over at iniBuilds, who have created this marvellous Ibiza scenery. So, it's all set up, ready to go. We'll announce it, and we'll begin it the second we see it in the chat. Andrew says, are you and 737NG driver flying together later? No, we're going to release a bit of a podcast style video where we kind of discuss GSX, the pros and cons, and also why initially we thought that it might have been a GSX problem just because of the really bad timing of it. So we've had a really good conversation before this stream today. Near about 8 PM roughly, we're going to release those videos. So do keep your eye out for it. It's going to be very exciting. When we get to Pilot Plus Bristol, by the way, I've been tweaking it. There we go, there's the giveaway question. So you've got to answer this. What is the ICAO code for Ibiza Airport? What is the ICAO code for Ibiza Airport? Pop the answer just once into the live chat. If you do more than once, Nightbot will remove your entry. So you can only answer once only, just to prevent spam. Commander Shadow, it's not necessarily in this sim, or at least it's the nearest possible match to it. But yeah, it's a Swiss A220 behind, looking pretty cool. He's given an inspection of my APU at the moment by the looks of it. What we want to do as well, myself and Emmy, 737NG driver, we want to do a group flight together. So most of you guys watch both of us, and most of you guys like to fly alongside with us as well, which is fantastic. So we thought, why not get together for some sort of live stream in the near future, and we run a little joint group flight somewhere on VATSIM, perhaps with the 737-800. David, hello again, welcome. He's the creator behind the VATSIM radio that we were using the other day. Well, yesterday, in fact. And those of you who didn't see it yesterday, we'll fire it up today so that you guys can see what it looks like too. We're on Unicom at the moment. I could brake check him, couldn't I? Here it is. So in effect, those of you who use VR, you can just go into this, it connects to your vPilot really nicely, and you can just click the frequency that you need to change to next, which is very swish. When we get a bit closer to London Control, we might end up speaking to them. I'll just click there and it will transfer my COM1 instantly to 1326 without me having to look down and fiddle around with any settings. It's really neat. Okay, so pre-departure checks. V-speeds are already done. We're going to go fuel flow, reset rate. V-speeds are checked, MCPP, nav data and radios are all set. We've got course 075 for the VOR at the moment, which is our outbound heading for the SID. And we're going to be doing the Apama 2 Foxtrot departure, which we've already briefed as well. Runway 06 at the threshold, so we confirm the runway. And we're going to just slow down to a little crawl. We're going to go traffic mode on. Transponder onto TARA. We'll pop the terrain on as well. Strobe steady. Taxi lights off. Runway turn off lights on.
Traffic, this is Tom Jet 5734, now airborne, passing for 1,000 feet. Ibiza traffic.
Ibiza traffic, GSX 14 Yankee Oscar via Hotel 2, I think it was. We're lining up runway 06. Looking down the path of the approach, just in case, because we are on Unicom, we might get somebody who doesn't bother to actually announce their position reports. We're going to have a quick check of the overhead panel, make sure that we're satisfied that it's all working as it should, and we're all ready to go, folks. Let's go. Post lights, strobe steady, taxi lights off, landing lights on, runway turn off lights on, transponder set TARA, runway confirmed, so that is it. The runway textures here look fantastic. The scrub of the tyres from aircraft look brilliant. We're going to wait for about 2 minutes basically, because that is the separation of the aircraft in front. We're all going the same direction, so we need that space. Fantastic livery. I'll put the link to this livery in the live stream's description today, so if you do want to get your hands on it, you can. Brakes off. On the brakes though, holding to 40% N1. Ibiza traffic, GSX 14 Yankee Oscar's taking off runway 06, Apama 2 Foxtrot departure, Ibiza traffic. Oh my god, holding position and changing to tower in fact, who's just come online, 1185, so that's rather unfortunate. I'll hold position here. I could have just ignored him, but because we've just started the roll, we'll flick across, so let's use VATSIM radio, Ibiza tower, click. And now if we look down, 1185 is active. Fantastic. Ibiza Tower, good afternoon, GSX 14 Yankee Oscars on runway 06 and ready for departure, expecting Apama 2 Foxtrot.
GSX 14 Yankee, correction Yankee Oscar, good afternoon, Ibiza Tower. Are you ready to copy?
Hey firm, ready to copy, GSX 14 Yankee Oscar.
Roger, GSX 14 Yankee Oscar, clear destination Echo Golf Delta by the Apama 2 Foxtrot departure. Please runway 16 is flying 6000 squawk 6210.
Clear to Bristol, Apama 2 Foxtrot departure, runway 06, initial climb 6,000 feet, squawk 6210, GSX 14 Yankee Oscar.
Finish 14 Yankee Oscar, read back right, and at this time wind 1 degrees 67 knots.
6210.
Clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 06, GSX 14 Yankee Oscar, thanks.
Tower, Tom Jet 3, Lima Echo is...
Let's go! Again! Okay, off the brakes. We're very heavy today, folks. Engine T's P's are stable. Toga. I keep forgetting I've set a new toga button now. Speeds alive. Flight directors are active. Little bit of a crosswind. Rotate. To the flight directors, holding it on the flight directors. Gear up.
Good afternoon, Ibiza Tower. Are you ready to copy?
Ready to copy for 68 Tango.
CMDA engage. Auto brake off. Runway turn off lights off. Waiting for the gear. The lights are out, and we'll turn that off. Whoop whoop, let's go. Overall, very impressed with that Ibiza scenery, it has to be said. Love this livery, it's fantastic.
6242, 438 Tango. Copy, man, 38 Tango, read back over it, evacuate the runway 06.
Going through flap retraction speeds, we're going to go to flap 1 now, but by that point we're going to be all good. Change Unicom 122.8, Janex 14 Yankee Oscar. Have a good day, thanks. So on VSR we can just go into the menu here without looking, we can still be doing stuff on the aircraft, then we can just hit bingo 1228. Com1 active to 1228 at the bottom of the ping there, so we know, we don't even have to look down, we know we're on Unicom now. Flaps retracted to up, last checks. And we're going to check cabins pressurising. It won't be just yet, but we will continue to wind the climb up to flight level 380 for our cruise today. Done. When will Ibiza release? Just in a couple of days. Are the servers fixed, or is it just hope? Lazarus is asking. So today we're doing it a bit differently. There's the cabin pressure, looking good. We've downloaded we've downloaded the Rex Weather Force Pro, I think it's called. Purchased it for today, just as a bit of a backup. So that is feeding our live weather into it. Then what we've done is we've downloaded something that somebody sent me yesterday called MSFS 2020 Map Enhancement. The link is in our Discord server, and what that is doing is it's feeding in the live Bing photogrammetry for us via a different server outside of the sim. So we're not relying on any internal MSFS servers whatsoever. And then of course we're on VATSIM, which is external as well. And the thought behind this is hopefully we can complete a full flight and have it not look like FSX. Thesis, let me check. You should have recorded it, buddy. Let me check the list. Yep, you're still on there, mate. Music Maestro, Music Maestro. Welcome on board this Jet 2 flight to Bristol. Very much looking forward to the 737-800. Robert saying, could you put a link to the COM application, please? Bear with me, I will find it. It was on GitHub. I'll put it in the live chat just now. Brados, yes, there's a significant issue with MSFS Live online services. So you have to go to General Settings, Data, Online Services Off. And if you click that, it will disable your multiplayer. It will disable all of your photogrammetry and everything else. However, what it does do for most people is stop the crash to desktop. So today, this is the longest flight that we've attempted, hoping that we can get all the way to the other side without significant issue or a crash to desktop. And if we do, we know that's at fault. We're running everything else as normal for the sim, and in fact we're running more than we ever do because we're feeding in the photogrammetry using external software and feeding in live weather using external software, in addition to all the other mods and things that we run too. Good afternoon, Andy, hope you're well. David's trying with Sim Update 10's beta, just not on VATSIM. I've heard it's quite good. I would imagine the theme of the day is going to be, how have you got live weather? Base saying, can you get the livery on Xbox? Sadly not, no. Captain Pro Slower saying, how can I get GSX? You just got to delete, you got to download it, you got to purchase it from the FS Dream Team website. Brian's been flying all morning with no issues so far, fantastic. Yes, Faris, real time. Or at least I thought I had real time on. Should be. I mean, look at that with photogrammetry on now, feeding in from a different thing. It's pretty nice. So, yeah, VSR is active, and this is VATSIM. So we were using that for departure to change the frequencies. We've got Volanta fired up as well. We're tracking our flight on there. We'll add all our screenshots to that as usual too. I can't wait to get into a 737-800 with a Jet 2 livery and go blasting around Europe. That's going to be great fun. Very exciting times ahead for us. Again, the giveaway today, to be in with a chance to win one of 2 copies for the iniBuilds new Ibiza scenery releasing very soon. It's going to be, all you got to do is hit subscribe, voluntarily give us a like as well, just normal rules for that I suppose. If you are enjoying the live stream, do click a like, but you've got to answer one question nice and easy correctly to be in with a chance to win. And that question is, what is the ICAO code for Ibiza? Yeah, Faris, it's not amazing photogrammetry, but it's better than nothing. Interestingly, I thought I'd installed it wrong to begin with. Alberto says, could you post the link about the external server photogrammetry again, please? You know what I'll do is I'll edit the description for the live stream very quickly on the fly. So just give me a couple of minutes. We'll do VATSIM radio mod link. Freeware VATSIM radio mod link, I should say. What else have we got? We've got MSFS. I'm going to have to dig it out and into Discord. It is in our Discord server. Let me find it, and I'll put it into the live stream description as well. If I can find it. Good grief. There it is. There we go. It should be in the description now. Adam's got a good question. He's in the live chat, I think, to be honest. It's David Black in the live chats. Adam's asking, can you run VSR on a separate PC? Willem, hello to you. Welcome. David G, welcome, buddy. This scenery, this aircraft livery, by the way, not scenery, yeah, the aircraft livery, is created by Damo on flightsim.to, and one of the quite fantastic things is he's created quite a lot of Jet 2 packages for the aeroplane now, and it includes this. I think it was supposed to be a custom cabin, but I'm going to have a little look to see if it does offer that. It does. Oh, that's very bold and bright. Jet2.com. There we are. Nice little nod to the immersion, just make things look a bit nicer inside the aircraft, doesn't it? When we get to Bristol, we'll turn GSX, we'll use that to deboard the aircraft using steps, and I've actually spent the morning before my call to Emmy, discussing GSX in a bit more depth. I've actually spent the morning beginning to create a GSX profile. Fuel, master caution, that's center planks 1 and 2 go to off, and that's cleared. We'll recall that, make sure it's not a problem still. We need to get a standard pressure too. Being sloppy, enjoying the outside views today, clearly. Yeah, basically what I've done is I've begun to customise and tweak all of the stands at the Pilot Plus Bristol Airport so that it works nicely with GSX and it improves the way that the ground vehicles park and interact around the aircraft, and to change the stand configurations as well to work with the scenery quite nicely. So it's very much a very early stage work in progress. But the stand that we intend to park at today, along with a couple of other backups, in case the stand's taken, will all have the GSX stuff working inside of it around the stand. So I'm hoping, if I've done it correctly, this is a bit of a live test. I've not given it a go beyond the editor, but we'll see if it works. And if it does, I'll continue with the rest of the airport as well. One thing I'll need to do is prescribe the paths for the passengers to walk along the zebra crossings and things to the aircraft at Bristol, because it's all remote stands, there's no jetways, it's all boarding fast stairs. David from VSR is saying, in theory, yes, you can potentially run VSR on an external PC or laptop, because the server is simply serving HML and talking via SIM Connect, but it's currently locked to the local machine to avoid firewall issues. Interesting. Dan, yes, we've disabled AREX and Jetways Pro. Anthony, 100%, which is why on the 20th, so 2 days ago, I did that community post on the channel. I wrote out a whole load of text basically explaining why we need to be a bit more patient with GSX, because we were still investigating what could be going wrong, and it might not even be GSX after all. And funnily enough, it turns out that it's not GSX whatsoever. So I feel quite sorry. Well, I feel sorry for Umberto in a way. I know his customer service could do with a lot of improvement on the forums. He sometimes comes across a little bit blunt and a bit sharp, but I would imagine the last couple of days have not been easy for him at all. And to then find out it's nothing to do with his product, and it's not, his product isn't causing the crash to desktops. I would like to think that a couple of people that have thrown a lot of hate towards him will go back onto the forum and openly apologise. John!
Got Luke today. Nice to be back.
Thanks, buddy. Hope all is well. I hope all is well. Great to have you here with us today. And thank you very much for your super chat. Really generous of you. Appreciate that. So myself and Emmy's creating the thumbnail as well, by the way. So we're going to have an ME737NG driver thumbnail on tonight's video at about 8 PM. David is on live weather / online services on and has just had a crash to desktop. We'll see if we can make it to Bristol. I hope so. Touch wood, we can make it. Pizza Monster says, so can you make clear, please, this Maps mod which you are now using, is it working with online functionality off? Or have you just switched this mod with online on? So I've switched it off. I thought I'd sort of explained it a bit better. Yesterday, on yesterday's live stream, we got a load of crash to desktops. During that stream, we troubleshooted live, and we then turned all of the data services online off completely. So you go to Settings, General, Data, and at the very top you have a tab called Online Services, which is everything below. You just turn it off and it will disable everything. It will disable the online weather, it will disable your multiplayer options, it will turn it all off. Bing photogrammetry switched off. You won't get any. It will look very flat, it will look very FSX, and there'll be no live weather feeding into the sim. Now, I will show you, let me just, give me 2 seconds. What I'll do is I'll pull up the 2 things that I'm using today to make this kind of work a bit better. And that is this. So the MSFS 2020 map enhancement, you have to run it in administrator mode, and then you can choose which set of maps you want. So you could do Google Maps, 1 and 2 servers. I've gone for Bing Maps, the latest Bing Maps, just to kind of compare it against what the sim should look like normally. And then you load the sim just before you're booting in, spawning onto stand. You want to make sure you hit start, or make sure at least at the very bottom left it says mod status started. And as you're flying along, it will just refresh the Bing data. The other thing is Rex Weather Force as well. I purchased that for today on Just Flight's website, sorry folks, as well. Don't buy it from anywhere else, because it's about 10 quid cheaper on Just Flight, which is a remarkable discount compared to everywhere else, which is around 20 to 25 pounds. It's $14.99 on justflight.com. So if you want to buy Rex Weather Force, go there. And in the settings for this, I can't show it you, but we've turned off the slow transitions of the weather. So it's pretty much instantaneous weather changes effectively. Now the one thing I don't understand, those of you who use Rex, Faris hopefully etc. can help with this. As we're flying this route, do we need to go into the Rex menu and change this ourselves, and myself, and change based on the airports we're flying over at the time, or is it something that it will automatically do, and will it track our progress to Bristol and automatically pull the nearest METARs along the way, or do I need to do something else? So a couple of people yesterday were testing different online servers and found that they were still getting crash to desktops. Full of flights, ran live weather last night. Skillies to Cardiff in the Twin Otter at 9 PM. No crash to desktops, but not on VATSIM. Blue, you know what? You've just said something that I wasn't going to mention or talk about because I've said no to them in a way because of their shady past. But Megapack is going to be back. So for the 200 people still watching, if you've used it in the past, it might be back very soon. Basically what they're creating, in fact, you know what? Screw it, let's show you guys. Give me a couple of seconds to get it working on the stream. They're redesigning the way their installer and everything works, and it'll be launching into public beta very soon, I think. I've just got to find Clink's message. There we go. So basically I've got an image to show you. In fact, I have two images to show you. It's not something I'm necessarily going to use, but here you go. Just move out the way of the window there. Yeah, this is going to be the new Project Megapack livery creator that they're going to release in the near future. They've been working on it for a few months effectively, a brand new livery system which is now in closed beta as it stands at the moment. But there's going to be 500 liveries so far, with more added soon, from numerous different livery creators. They've said from over 10 of the highest quality livery developers in the community who have partnered with Megapack, sorry, to make it possible, and it will enable any user to generate their own custom package of liveries for free. So all you've got to do is input your preferred region, like here on this screen. You choose the region that you want to sort of head to and the aircraft that you want to download a livery for. So you can see Headwind A330, Salty 747-8, the Flyby White A320X are included there too. Different realism options, historic or current or concept liveries as well, and then you click next and it will give you your pack. So out of all the options you can tick the ones you want and the ones you don't, and then you effectively just click generate my mega pack, and the idea is it will then create a mega pack for you based on whatever you want effectively. If it works and it can be expanded, it's going to be awesome, because it's going to solve the need to trawl through flightsim.to, which, let's face it, is just absolutely chock-a-block full of ruddy adverts at the moment, gobbling up performance on Chrome and everything else, making it really difficult. At least that's how I found it. But yeah, who knows, who knows, watch this space. Michael, hello buddy, afternoon, saying lovely livery, may have to pick it up. The sim can be so unstable, can't it? Yeah, unfortunately so. Yet again, it's an issue with the data stream services from Asobo / Microsoft. Really frustrating. Anthony says, gotta hate when the sim crashes 200 miles from top of descent after a 5-hour flight. I wish Microsoft and Asobo would work out where these crasher desktops are coming from. Good grief. Did you have online services switched off? That's the question. Same with Bobby as well. You said he had the sim crash in 2 out of 3 flights last night. Did you have online services switched off too? Brian's just had his first crash to desktop in weeks. Oh no, that's not good. Dan, welcome back, buddy. Joining us again as a bronze frequent flyer once more. Thanks very much, really appreciate it. Paolo says, how'd you get the wing view? You've just got to set it. I've done a tutorial on the channel a little while back showing you how to tweak custom views in Microsoft Flight Simulator, so do check it out. Commander, at the very end of the stream, we will draw the 2 winners. If you are just tuning in and you want to enter the giveaway to win one of 2 copies of the new iniBuilds Ibiza airport scenery releasing in just a couple of days, then all you've got to do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel and then answer the following question correctly. What is the ICAO code for Ibiza? What is the ICAO code for Ibiza? Dan, maybe, you know what, maybe in that instance it is literally purely live weather again that's broken. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, would it? Let's face it. There have been significant issues in the past with live weather causing massive crash to desktops and all sorts of instability in the past. In fact, roughly once or twice in last year we had a similar problem, didn't we? Dan, it's great to have you back. Like Adam's saying there, the good thing, in a way, is that we all need to remember we're pretty much all having crash to desktops, which means it must be a known problem. Taking positives from the situation, really. And we know what's going on, really, as well. We've investigated it ourselves as a community. The forum, the official Microsoft Flight Simulator forums, have absolutely gone wild over the last 2 or 3 days. In fact, in 2 days, I ended up watching the forum explode into a thread of about 600 comments of people saying the same thing. Yes, Dan, that's the one. Sim Update 5 last year destroyed live weather. Pretty much 1 year to this date as well, wasn't it? As you just pointed out. So, coincidence? So it seems like if someone further up, let's see, I'm just losing track of the live chat here. Dan there saying that he's flown for a total of 5 hours today with online services switched on, GSX on, but with live weather switched off and Rex weather on. It sounds like it's a live weather issue. Then Pizza Monster there saying someone tested live weather already and sim crashed without live weather on. Who knows? Sebastian, interesting. With the latest beta, he's never had a crash to desktop, but I will say, he's saying there you don't use GSX. We have pretty much established with certainty that it's nothing to do with GSX, and it's just an unfortunate circumstance that it's launched at the same time. How's the sound in the background, folks? Is it better today, or better now than it was at the beginning? Electrox, I hope that doesn't become a common theme. Bobby Fuzzy, yeah, that'll be it. So you've got to go to your general settings, data, and then turn online services off. And that apparently, this is kind of the test for it for me on this channel as well, this flight and live stream. That apparently fixes it. So we are working away just to see what happens effectively. Oh dear. I think we might have a troll. Apparently somebody's just spawned within the radius of vPilot in a Just Flight Hawk. We'll see what happens. Simon, I'm not sure, to be honest. I find myself having to be reminded that this is supposed to be the next level or next gen kind of ground breaking simulator, so these things I suppose can break, but hey ho. It's nice to have some sort of live weather back on as well. Dan says, was there an update out earlier for GSX? I hit update in the installer this morning and it did something that took quite a long while to process. You know what? I really don't know. I really don't know. It's a very good question, actually. There goes my very first dot wallop. In effect, whoever's in that F-15 is trying to trigger a TARA. They're 1 nautical mile away from me all of a sudden, so I've hidden them. I've ignored them, therefore it deletes them from the sim, so I can't see or be affected by them. And I've just dropped a dot wallop. Spectacular Flying says, my sim doesn't crash to desktop. Maybe mods like the photogrammetry mod make the sim crash to desktop. No, so I'm only using that today because of the crash to desktop issues. I think the GSX installer is pretty awful, or the FSDT installer is pretty awful. It's very archaic. Every time I've hit update, as John's saying, it kind of seems to repeat the same thing. So I have no idea if it's actually updating or if it's just kind of repeating the same process. That's a great way of summing it up, Shaquille. Yeah, MSFS is beautifully annoying. Anthony, I'm not sure. I really don't know, to be honest. I would assume it might even be on the forums for FS Dream Team. GSX support MSFS. Yeah, let's have a look. In fact, on their forums, you've got GSX Pro airport profiles and aircraft profiles as like a shared pin, which is quite interesting. Orbex Prague, Aerosoft Flamingo Bonaire, Gaia Simulations Low, Aerosoft Beno, the start of a profile for Aerosoft's Wonderful Brussels, and LFMN by Just Sim profiles available for airports on the FS Dream Team forum by the looks of it. I have no idea how you know that it updates. Adam VV is Rex, weather worth it now? It's difficult to say, really. I've always been against it because we used to use, whenever the sim broke in Sim Update 5. Oh, awesome. Supervisor's resolved it already. That was really quick. That, Doc, awesome. Yeah, so going back to, is Rex weather worth it? When Sim Update 5 broke all the weather and everything else, and it was just an absolute train wreck of an update, what we ended up doing was using unrealweather.blogspot.com, which is a freeware similar kind of thing to Rex. So I always said there's absolutely no point or need to create it or purchase something like Rex, because there's a free option available that did the same thing. But unfortunately, around Sim Update 6, Unreal Weather stopped being supported, which is really unfortunate. So when live weather breaks as substantially as it has, or at least you have to turn the online weather off or the online data off, and therefore don't get live weather, you have to seek alternate options, and the only one really suitably available is Rex WeatherForce Pro. Docks flying with online services on. Ooh, throwing in the risk. Very exciting. You'll have to keep us updated. Hopefully it works well for you. Dan says, I'm a big Rex fan, but I will happily admit it's been a bit naff for about 8 months. They did a huge patch a week ago, and now it's great. With aerosol on, it adds another level of detail to the sim. Dazzle, you know what, I was just wondering the same thing, to be honest. It does say it started. I might click start again. Or I'll click stop. I think... Oh, I know what it is. It's LODs. So it is working. The photogrammetry is updating, but because we're at flight level 380, it doesn't give us the high detailed terrain below, effectively. It says here, LODs... when enabled, the image server will load 4 images from the next LOD available. For example, therefore, when MSFS asks to provide images from flight level 180, the image server will load 4 images from flight level 190 and merge them. So it is still in progress, it is still working, but because we haven't started our descent, the photogrammetry is not looking at its finest at the moment from this external thing, but if it works, it works. David says, for your information, you can also see incoming VATSIM direct to network messages in VATSIM radio to avoid going over to vPilot. Thanks for telling me. You know what? I've looked over that. I should have done that. I should have given that a go. So I do apologise. Yeah, it would have appeared at the bottom then. Those of you who missed this yesterday, on global map you can zoom out and you can see what's going on. So that the little white blip is us, and you can see we've just passed Barcelona. We've got approach online for them. Very neat. It's a great free add-on. VATSIM should really kind of pay attention to this, because they could offer David some assistance in getting it supported and vice versa officially. I'd like to see VATSIM officially support VATSIM radio. How about that? Faris said, I noticed your wind is quite a bit different, quite a bit extreme compared to the default live weather. Is that because I'm feeding it in via Rex every 10 minutes and the sim does its kind of 30 minutes behind, or something else? I'm not sure. Bobby, hopefully we will see. If we can get all the way to Bristol, then I am certain that if you turn online services to off, and then you use these mods as a bit of a backup, as quite an extreme backup I suppose, it should work for you. Come fly with me, welcome buddy. Anthony, that's pretty smart. Dwal says, VSR is a brilliant add-on, well done that developer, and it's free. How fantastic is that? 067 at 57 knots for the weather at the moment. Faris? Juliet, I think some people on the Sim Update 10 beta are also getting crashed to desktops, I believe. I'm not sure. A is for ATIS Blue, but they've also got an approach controller online. Dan says, change it down next time to as low as it goes for both weather injection options. That's what I do and it works seamless. How do you mean? By the way, the weather in the UK at the moment is quite murky, so I'm expecting either rain or at least a lot of dense cloud into Bristol. So we're gonna test Rex as well for the very first time. Frames per second saver mode on and aerosol on. Interesting. Yeah, you know, I need to explore Rex a bit more. I literally purchased it about an hour before the stream began, just to throw it in, and I wanted live weather. We're on VATSIM after all. Yesterday's tweaks and workaround didn't work. Aerosol is particles, Dwyle. So when you see haze and fog and stuff like that in the air on MSFS, particles are the aerosols effectively. So Rex can allow you now to change or show fog and haze, that sort of thing. Borja, hello. Got a question. I saw that you have the scenery jetways in Ibiza and not the GSX ones. How can I change it? So in GSX, you just got to click like the custom airport option, and it will recognise that you've got a third-party scenery with custom jetways, or you can go to the FSDT installer and you can add an exclusion for that airport manually if you need to. John, it should be roughly similar, I would hope. We'll find out. We'll find out, I guess. Roger Moore says 5 miles from Bristol and it's light rain. Perfect. Dan says if you turn it off and on again now, quickly, I can show you what I mean. Okay. Stand by. So stop weather synthesis and we go to settings, I suppose. So that's what I've got configured at the moment. I'll just wait for the... I mean, we're about 20-30 seconds behind on the live chat and the stream, so... Where do we go from here? I noticed enable frame rate performance improvements is switched off at the moment. You turn it off and on without changing back to clear sky. Okay, that's good to know. So turn down weather updates, as in to 5 minutes, to the lowest setting. Thanks for this, Dan. Always happy to try stuff. Then off instant weather, load, and enable frame rate improvements. Like that. I love this lag in the live chat, it's brilliant. This is a guinea pig stream after all. We'll see if it prevents the crash to desktops. I think we're actually then started again. Okay, thank you. So, bingo. See what happens. Thanks, Dan. Just go back into the flight deck quick, make sure we haven't caused too many issues with the aircraft. Oh my god. Okay, well there we go. There's the transition for the weather. Fantastic. Alright, we'll just let the engines stabilise here. We've got the overspeed warning, the old clackers going off. But that's fine. It will go off in a second. It is default terrain, but it's a very low LOD further up, that's why. Matt just went crash to desktop. Did you have online services switched on? Nabil, yes, my online services are still off. They are still switched off. Lots of people in the stream today. It's great to have you all on board with us. Please do hit subscribe while you're with us, if you've not done so already. Great to have you on board. And don't forget to tickle the like button as well. And we're at 102 likes already. Thank you, folks. Love it. There we are. Look at that now. Weather transition. Lovely. I mean, that looks really cool now. Notwithstanding the photogrammetry, of course. You know what I should have done? I should have preempted that and went seatbelt signs on. Gave them a couple of minutes to sort themselves out and then change the weather. Let's have a look at Volanta. We'll check our progress. There we are. The old gravy train of aircraft. We departed the new Ibiza scenery, which is being created by iniBuilds. It's releasing really soon. Departed there, and we've flown up over the Balearic Sea, passing over Tarragona and Reyes Airport. And we've just done the Pyrenees, so we're into French airspace now. Toulouse to the left-hand side of the screen, to the northeast of our current location. And our route's going to take us past Bordeaux, La Rochelle, Nantes, over the Channel, descending over Brixham and Torquay and Dorset, Exeter, descending now then towards the sort of Bristol coast, Western-super-Mare, etc. for an approach in. We're expecting Dorley 1 Bravo arrival into Bristol, and at the moment we're expecting 27 with the potential change for the weather. We should probably add, we haven't got any more screenshots. Dan, yes, it should be. Depending on when you cancelled last, you might have to link your YouTube menu, your YouTube account inside your Discord user settings, and it will then refresh, and you should see the club lounge. John says his winds at flight level 380 are 294 at 45 with live weather. We've got 344 at 61 now. Neil, we're fiddling around with live weather. We're refreshing Rex, basically. Sid Lamb says, what's your opinion of Rex weather force for MSFS? Predominantly, I'll still have my same opinion as before, which is it's pointless when live weather works, which is most of the time. But if it doesn't work, if live weather at the moment is really broken, or online services have to be switched off to prevent crash to desktops like we are flying with at the moment, we've got it all switched off, then it's currently the only other option to get live weather in the sim. So in that instance, it's actually really good to have as a backup. But if you're going to purchase Rex live weather, folks, go to justflight.com and buy it through Just Flight's website, because it is about 25% cheaper on their website than any other website. Little top tip there to save you a bit of money. I know the 737-800 is coming imminently from PMDG, so in a squeeze for all these fantastic add-ons coming. Birdman says, getting unhandled exception in a fresh install of vPilot and it becomes unresponsive. Did anyone else have it? You know what? I had that yesterday. I had to kill vPilot, Alt F4 it, and then just refresh it, and it worked again. All a bit weird, isn't it? Faris's wins are 389 at 68. Okay, that's pretty similar to me then, Faris on Rex. Crash to desktop, Cocolada. Oh no. Out of nowhere. Did you have online data services switched on, Cocolada? Current flush, I've spent quite a few £100s. I'm grateful. I do, in fairness, get quite a lot of free stuff from developers to use on the channel, so that, in fairness, stops me spending a significant amount of money, but I think it would have gone into the over 500, near to £1,000 otherwise. Lolo Lacrasse, what's the giveaway? It's for a copy of iniBuild's new Ibiza airport scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Cocolada had online services on. Switch it off. You wouldn't have had a crash to desktop. Nabil, yes, we're feeding live weather in via Rex at the moment. That's the only way we can get live weather in. Well, Cocolada, you just have to inject the stuff that I've mentioned today as a bit of a workaround temporarily. I would imagine in the next 3-4 days it'll be fixed, I'd like to think. Wowzers. That's like a time lapse of the weather. You know what? That looked cool. I enjoyed that. That's mega. I mean, what you don't want is to see the cloud coming up towards you that quickly, but... How long on the cruise, old dog? It should be at the top of your screen, I'd like to think. 1 hour 12 left. We're almost halfway. But I don't want to jinx it. I won't say what I want to say. Guilo says we just went full Koyani Katsi. Not sure what that means. Full of flights. What airline are you going to use first with the 737-800 release this week? I haven't decided. I want TUI probably. I think I'm going to throw myself into TUI. Go a bit of Tomjet for the day. Shaquille says, will you use Rex after the default weather is back working? No. I will purely have it as a backup, really. I quite like live weather. When it works very well, and it means I don't have to fiddle with stuff or run any external programs either. So, yeah, pretty cool. Anthony, does anyone know the timestamp for when we were discussing that a minute ago? All the different things we've got running today. Check the links in the live stream description, Anthony. We're running an MSFS 2020 map enhancement. So we're injecting externally all the Bing photogrammetry today. And then we're using Rex Weather to feed in live weather externally as well. Kelvin, I think it probably does affect frames a little bit. But I've got to say I haven't noticed any hit, to be honest. Sam, I never use sim rate enhancements. I always leave it on live time. Wolfdog, Pilot Plus Bristol. Always. Much better. Incredible developer. The UK 2000 Bristol's not worth its weight at all in for how much it is. Benjamin, GSX was never crashing the sim. It was a really unfortunate coincidence that the same time GSX released and everybody's installing it and using it, the Xbox gaming services became corrupt for whatever reason. They've changed something in a server somewhere in preparation for Sim Update 10. And it was feeding in bad data to the sim, which was then crashing all of our simulators. It's just a really horrible bit of timing, really. So GSX never crashed the sims. It was a live data issue feeding in through the Microsoft Flight Simulator servers. Whether it be live weather or photogrammetry related, we're not really sure, but it's something to do with that. We've installed GSX yesterday during our stream after loads of crash to desktops. We then switched online services off in the sim menu, reinstalled GSX completely. We did it live on the stream, and then booted in and completed a full flight, which is really cool. But at the moment, from what we understand, the only way to prevent the crash to desktops is to go into your settings and turn online services off. And then you need to source externally other ways to get photogrammetry and live weather, which is what we're doing today as a bit of a test. So have a little look at it all. Transport Gamer, can I have some help? I was on VATSIM and I got banned for 10 days for an odd reason, even though I followed all the rules and regulations. What was the reason they gave you and what were you doing at the time? You might assist with the context of it all. Dan, yes I did. I got told by Sante, who's my contact at Orbex, that it was on their list of things to do. But I heard from somebody who emailed Orbex a month ago who asked the same question, and they turned around and said they will not update London City Airport. So I'm not really sure. I've been told it's on the long list of things to do. It's a very low priority, which is frustrating, but I thought at least it'll be updated in the future. But someone else has then been told UBEX will not be updating it, so I don't know. John, pretty much, unfortunately. Anthony says he's going to fly Garuda Indonesia first for his 737-800 hop when it does release. Full of flights is also going to be Tom jetting it out of Bournemouth for the 737-800. Sid Lamb's going for Qantas, Sydney to Queenstown perhaps. That's an epic route. What a great way to throw yourself into the 800 as well. VATSIM's going to go 800 flight Miat Mongolian Airlines. Of course, the most random of all. Fantastic. Blue, unfortunately not, no. I think it's going to take somebody to create a mod which tweaks the Orbex London City, perhaps. Dan, you know what? I genuinely don't hold any hope now. I think I said on our last stream out of London City when we were discussing it about 3 weeks or so ago, roughly. I said that it unfortunately is going to take somebody to spend the time creating a mod to enhance Orbex LCY. That's the only way it's going to work, I think, which is annoying. Transport Gamer, well, were you using communications to tell people what you were doing? Were you updating your position via voice or text? Did you cut anybody up by accident because you weren't updating your position, perhaps? It could be a number of things. Shaquille's shot out of left field here. How is the heavy division mod? You know what? I've not used it in a very long time. I'm kind of holding out to try it again post Sim Update 10 based on what they do to the weather API to see if it's something that Komi can do, because I know they're also releasing some of the configs, they're decrypting some of the configs for the 787 as well. So I'm waiting to kind of see and find out if Komi, the developer at Heavy Division, can tweak it beyond that, and then I might revisit it. But my go-to is the PMDG 737. It's just fantastic. I can't fault it. There's nothing negative that I can say about it because I just enjoy it. I don't think there's anything that really competes with it. Performance and complexity as an all-round amazing package. Dan, yeah, Fly 2 routes with Fly UK with the 737-800. That's going to be great, and I'll actually be able to keep my hours up rather than getting loads of last-minute emails saying you haven't flown for a month, you're under warning. Right, let's risk going outside. Jet 2 today, package holidays you can trust. Wonderful livery. Dan says the Salty 747's well worth a flight. Again, it's coming on really well. Yeah, I am overdue a little revisit of that, to be honest. I think it's very difficult to tear yourself away from these high fidelity aircraft to go back to something which uses a lot of default systems too. Monty, I've tried the Fenix 320 a lot. Yeah, it's got an EFB which is fantastic, but performance for me just is off. It's just not great. This is the smoothest aircraft performance wise in the sim. It's the most stable for me as well, it seems. Visually fantastic. System depth is incredible. Yes, it doesn't have an EFB, but it doesn't change the way the aircraft flies. Let's face it. And you don't sit there fiddling around with the EFB for 3-4 hours during your flight, do you? So you don't need it. When PMDG released their EFB, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff on that, by the sounds of it as well. Having had a conversation earlier with very interesting stuff involved, that is going to be epic. But for now, I am really content sticking my head down here in the FMC and doing cruise, fiddling around with fuel and passenger loads and everything else, with also GSX working away in the background. It's pretty cool. Yeah, the Flyby A32NX, Dan, is also incredible. That has actually got better performance than the Fenix 320 for me, which is remarkably weird to say. But it is what it is. Let's go for this view for a little bit. Faris, yeah. Great livery, isn't it? Poseidon says, I wish PMDG would have an option to use the old parking brake system. Sadly, well, unfortunately, it's because it's a realism thing that they've changed it. So it's to make it more realistic. It's a more realistic braking system. Gary, you know what? You're not far off there. It looks very Allegiant, doesn't it? Jim's trying the V35, even for when it's not study level. He really likes it. Good bang for the buck. Not tried. I've not heard of that one actually. Electrox saying, do you expect the 737-800s from PMDG on the earlier side of this week, or will it be next week? I'd like to think it'll be next week. If it is, that's a good thing for me, because I don't want to be at work when it releases, let's face it. I want to be diving straight, I want to be downloading it, diving straight into a flight, whacking it straight into a live stream. Dan, absolutely. It does make you wonder, doesn't it? The fact that PMDG have made a couple of tweaks and updates over time, and they've not really had much leeway in timings from when they released either. I would like to have seen some improvements to the way the Fenix works. There's some really, really frustrating issues that I experienced with it, with some of the visual effects on the wings. Performance as well can be a bit rubbish, so I'd like to see some improvements too on that side. The VNAV yesterday in the Fenix, for those of you who were watching yesterday's live stream, it was horrendous. Really did not enjoy that. I don't know what was going on with it yesterday, but bizarre behaviours. W Fahrenheit, absolutely, which is why on the 20th I put that post out, because there was a lot of fury, a lot of hatred being directed at FS Dream Team, but we had no tangible evidence, only theory, which suggested it could be causing crashes. So I was trying to, in that post, calm people down a little bit and say, look, just give people time to work out what's happening. And even I had a couple of sort of angry comments thrown at me as well. Which is fine, I get it. We've purchased these add-ons. It's cost money, and there's potentially a problem. So people are then understandably angry, but without really giving it too much in-depth thought. They've kind of just jumped on the fact that everyone else is saying the same thing. And now, a couple of days later, it turns out it's nothing to do with them at all, which I think is really unfortunate. Some of the comments I've seen are over the line, I think, towards FS Dream Team. It's got bugs, but GSX Wumberto at FS Dream Team have said that he's going to support it for the next 10 years. So, John, yeah, one of the things in the video me and Emmy have teamed up with later on, we kind of discussed that as well, the fact that they've been completely inundated with people trying to join their forums, and it's just one guy, from what I understand. Quality Wings who? You know what, they put something out a little while ago saying about something else, trying to keep people updated, but at the end of the day, I've just given up waiting for them. I don't think they're going to be coming anytime soon, and I've kind of just forgotten about Quality Wings 787, to be totally honest. There's no point even thinking about it until they turn around and say, oh, by the way, we're going to release it in 2 weeks. Until then, we might as well just go down the line if it's not going to come anytime soon, if at all. I'm inclined to think the latter. Jim, exactly. exactly. I kind of fell foul of that as well. It probably didn't look great when I, on a live stream, uninstalled GSX. But it was a bit of a test as well to see if it was going to stop the crashed desktops, and then we loaded in and got a crashed desktop without GSX installed. So it got me confused, it got us thinking. A lot of the community heads together. Yeah, it was quite quick on the forums after that, people saying it's nothing to do with GSX. It's in fact the live data stream from Xbox/Microsoft/Asobo. Wolfdog, yes. So if you're going to speak to Manchester Delivery, you call up, in our instance, Chanex 14 Yankee Oscar. It would be Manchester Delivery, hello, Chanex 14 Yankee Oscar, and then your message. If it's ground, it'd be Manchester Ground, Manchester Tower, Manchester Tower. If they come back to you and say Tower, and they've abbreviated their call sign, you could respond back with Tower. But once you've made that initial contact, you won't need to keep calling them Manchester Tower at the start of every single transmission, only the first one. As you would have heard yesterday, or in fact on all of my live streams. Count Duckula says, GSX not loading or using profiles is down to MSFS. I'm not sure. We were referring to the issues about the crash to desktops. It's buggy. I agree. GSX. There are problems, and there are things that we would like to see improved. The procedures, some of the animations, it'd be nice to see them improved as well. But, as Sid Lamb is saying, it's working well enough. Well, Sid Lamb says it's working quite well for him now. I would say it's working well enough to be able to enjoy it. And I have to say, yesterday, the latter part of the live stream, when we were using it for boarding and deboarding, I got a lot of enjoyment out of that. We had the follow me car guide us into the stand. I got a lot of enjoyment with that. And that to me tells me that it's a program, GSX is a program, an add-on that I really enjoy and I can get behind. So we're using it again today. We'll use it again next week. We'll use it on every single live stream going forwards. Wolfdog, if it's a aircraft that you can, if it's an aircraft that you can control really well, and you are very confident doing anything the controller might throw at you with, then it's the perfect aircraft to start VATSIM with. Steve Stavros, it sounds like your firewall or your antivirus might be playing up a little bit there and getting in the way, perhaps. So check your exceptions and things, but if not, completely delete it, uninstall it, go to app data, find the hidden folders under Virtuali, remove those as well, give it a go. Yeah, Dan, the marshallers on arrival, that's great as well. Mark's saying use the follow me car at Bristol. I will. In fact, we have custom configured a stand at Bristol, which hopefully offers even more immersion and a slight increase of accuracy with the ground handling. I've spent the morning tweaking a number of the different stands, and depending on the time we get there, actually, when we do arrive, I will probably continue to tweak it with you guys live if that's something you want to see. We did it at the end of yesterday's live stream as well, but if it's something you want to see, it's going to end up being a file that I'm going to share on flightsim.to for the Pilot Plus scenery. Yeah, it could be interesting to join. If not, then well, it's up to you guys. You guys are the viewers. All led on you guys. BKG Blueface, yes. Nail on the head. A really, really unfortunate case of bad timing. Shaquille, yeah, but that's again down to the need to tweak the files on the airports we're flying into. You can change where your passengers walk, basically. But it's all in the manual, and I've kind of learned how to do it through the manual. We gave it a go yesterday. It's pretty useful. Sam says, what if ATC assign you a different stand? Good point. If they do, I might request the stands that I've tweaked. Malteser, hello. Yeah, we're using GSX. We used it at the start for loading, boarding, pushback. And we're going to use it in Bristol on arrival as well. I mean, we're halfway so far. Big touch wood, big touch wood. Online services inside Microsoft Flight Simulator switched off. So no photogrammetry, no live weather, no multiplayer options, no server connection, nothing. But we are running with this. Rex Weather Force Pro for live weather. And a freeware map enhancement, MSFS 2020 map enhancement. The links are in the live stream description, folks. If you do want to try it as a workaround for these crash to desktops. Unfortunately, Rex is payware, but the map enhancement is free, and you can choose Bing, Google, ArcGIS, and Mapbox, whatever they are. I've gone with the latest Bing Maps data. And for a performance improvement, what it does is it doesn't load the photogrammetry below at high altitude. So we will see the difference when we're arriving back at Bristol, basically. But yeah, decent, right? That's what we're using today to work around the crash to desktops. Again, the links are in the description for both. I had no choice, Beeline Pilot. What they're both doing, folks, the map enhancement is feeding the photogrammetry in externally using a program. And then Rex Weather Force is feeding in the live weather externally using their program. Blue, yes. I thought that was well known by now, actually. pmdg is working on a really nice tablet. There's going to be some really cool features with it. From a conversation I was having earlier, some of the features are just going to be incredibly good. And in fact, I'm going to say it, one of them, if it does get implemented, will beat the EFB in the Fenix. I will line that one up for you, but I shan't spoil it. Also because it's locked down at the moment under very strict secrets. But the EFB in the 737 is coming in the next 3-4 months or so, roughly, I think it was. I can't remember when Robert Randazzo on the forums suggested it was going to be coming. But yeah. Have we announced the... Neil says, have we announced me winning the giveaway yet? Not yet, buddy. We'll roll both the winners at the end of the live stream, so everybody gets a chance to win one of 2 packages, effectively. If you haven't entered the giveaway yet, folks, you've got to hit subscribe. Check the terms and conditions, by the way, are in the live stream description. As well, at the bottom, there's a link that will take you to the T's and C's today. We're giving away 2 copies of iniBuilds new Ibiza scenery, courtesy of iniBuilds. YouTube doesn't endorse or condone and are released from any liability in relation to this giveaway. And the live stream is free to enter. You've just got to answer one question correctly. What is the ICAO code for Ibiza? Jeff, that's a not great reason to not buy the 737. You don't use an EFB all that much anyway, let's face it. And the 737 for me is by far, in a mile, the best aircraft in the sim. Without an EFB. So you can imagine in a couple of months with an EFB, it's going to pull even further ahead. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say in relation to that, to be honest. Shaquille's saying, does pmdg plan on doing the MAX right after the NG? No. They're going to do the 777 and the 747 afterwards, and then the MAX. So we're going to get some epic long haulers, twin aisle long haulers from pmdg in the near future. Thies, thank you, buddy. This week it was announced that the EFB from pmdg will beta in the second half of September, and that it shouldn't be a very long beta, so I don't know, middle to the end of October perhaps. We will be able to enjoy that. Whiskey Fahrenheit, there's a question I don't know the answer to, but I'm interested as well, thinking the same thing. Mark. Good point. Yeah. Simon's just requested to join Osprey Airways. I've just clicked approve. Faris has crashed a desktop. Oh no! You had online services switched on, didn't you? Because you were fiddling with live weather. John, yeah. You know what? When I've reinstalled Windows, that is one thing I did not bother reinstalling. What a load of crap that is. I think that's the first time I've said that word on the channel as well. I can't hide it sometimes. Can't hide it. Honey, hello buddy, welcome. Thank you very much for your super chat. Very much appreciated the support.
3.00.
3.00 indeed. Dazzler, yes, that's because we are at altitude, I believe. At least that's how I've read it. We're using the alpha 6 point something version. So when we descend, all of the photogrammetry will begin to load back in again. It's basically loaded the tile around Ibiza, and then as we climbed above flight level 180, it stopped loading. But hey, we're still going. One more try with data services off here for David. Daniel, is that in relation to graphics settings, or is that in relation to the data stuff and the prevention of crash to desktops, or the attempts to prevent the crash to desktops that are happening with everybody at the moment? Manic, fuel 5.00, let's do a fuel check. .7 on the fuel. Lovely. We've got a little bit over. Beautiful. Over's good. So they have not fixed the servo problem indeed, MPS Gaming. Dan, yes, I've used the drone camera once today. Let's use it again. Let's roll the dice. Whee! You know what? This is such a great add-on. I love this aircraft. Oh, it's still got the landing lights on. What an absolute cowboy. The engineers will be angry when the light bulbs go. Oh well. Looks great. Big easy. You've got to turn off the online services off. There's a load of corrupt nastiness coming from the Asobo or Xbox Microsoft servers, sadly causing this. From what we understand with the information we've got so far. Now, the difference is that we can actually inject live weather using Rex as a backup, and we are also able to inject photogrammetry in as well. So if we, well, I guess it's worth repeating a couple of times, isn't it, because folks might be just joining us now. At higher altitudes it's not doing anything, but at the lower altitudes we should get photogrammetry improvements. So we've got Rex and MSFS 20 map enhancement. I've linked them in the live stream's description, folks, so you guys can give it a go as well. Everybody's suffering the same thing, so why not try and help? This is what we're doing today as a test. We've got GSX installed. We're on VATSIM. I'm using FSU IPC with landing rate monitor. We're using Volanta. We're using the new VATSIM radio enhancement program mod thing, which we showed off yesterday for the first time. I'm using VAS Airplane Toolbox for our performance calculations of the 737-700, using Navigraph, and we're using this map enhancement tool, feeding in the latest Bing map data, and Rex Weather Force feeding in live weather. So photogrammetry externally, fed in with data services off in the sim. We're feeding the photogrammetry in externally using this program. And then we're also feeding in Rex weather data too. Yeah, Asobo have, or the community folks for Microsoft Flight Simulator support on their on the forum have acknowledged the issue. The thread's exploded. The CTD thread has just gone absolutely mental over the last 24 or so hours, 48 hours. Tons of crash reports, tons of people offering tips and advice. The one that we had yesterday seems to be the thing that's fixed us. It's a lot of work to do for a workaround, Jim, as you're saying there, but it took me all of about 5 minutes to install both and get them all set up. Gav, thanks buddy, really appreciate it. Dan's saying, could you do a quick show of how VATS Airplane Toolbox works for the 737, because I can't get my head around all the figures mean. I might just be being dumb. Stand by. So VATS Airplane Toolbox is what we use to fiddle around with our performance calculations. I'll show you how it works then. It's something I've never done on the channel either, so bear with me. You can download this via the Explain forum, ironically, and then use it in MSFS. So you start at the Home tab. What you do when you click it is you get this. You get this instead, this little pop-up window thing that pops up. It's got a QR code on it. I don't know what it means. I've never scanned it, but I don't want to. But when it's working, it loads up in a browser, and it connects via the port that you've opened up at the moment. And we want 737-700 for today's aircraft, and it gives you some figures, takeoff weights and things in pounds. ACARS feeds in your data from SimBrief. So you can put your username, for your SimBrief username, in the settings of VATS Airplane Toolbox, and it will give you your operational flight plan. With that downloaded, you click the little download there for SimBrief. It will download your SimBrief into your ACARS of VATS Airplane Toolbox. You go to the Takeoff tab, and then you click the little refresh button for ACARS at the top right on the right hand side of the screen, and it will pull in the departure airport, and then you click METAR and it will pull in the METAR for you. If it's raining, of course, you need to change to wet. If it's wet and ice, or if it's snow covered, it'll be contaminated, that sort of thing. And then you can select the runway that you want to use, whether it be 06 or 24. We departed runway 06. If you're doing an intersection departure, then you want to work out how many meters that you have gobbled up of the runway. If you're lining up short on an intersection, and you would put in, say, 100 meters if you're using an intersection 100 meters away from the end of the runway. But I always leave clearway stopway on 0. I never really fiddle around too much with it. If you're going real chilly and you're departing somewhere in Scandinavia covered in ice, then you might want to put wing and engine anti-ice on or something, and then you can either leave flaps to optimum and it will give you the preferred setting on the bottom of the performance at the bottom there, or you can select flap 5 and make sure your bleeds are on. And then I'll leave the others on optimum, and we hit calculate. And at the bottom it then says to us, it recommends flap 5 departure with our thrust set to the takeoff 2 profile, 20k D rate, which will give us roughly 90% N1, approximately. It will be slightly different in the pmdg 737. And then an estimate for some V speeds, because it would be slightly different again in the 737. I think we had 139 for V2 as an example, and then it gives us the figures of how much distance for the runway we're going to need. If you want to look at the figures for takeoff profile 1, we can just click it and it will give us the new settings instead. When we fly our approach into Bristol in a little while, we go to the landing tab. We've already started to prep it now, so we click ACARS. We're expecting 27. Landing distance available 2011, but actually let's remove 100 meters for the flare, so 1900, and we can feed in the latest weather, So we can see 19 degrees, QNH 1012, winds 170 at 6. We know it's wet. So we're going to put damp. Anti-ice off, engine bleeds on, both reversers, no auto land. Flaps 30, hit calculate. And it's telling us we need a landing altitude on the pressurization panel of 650. And it's given us rough estimate approach speeds of 136. We'll go by what the FMC tells us. But that's roughly what we can expect. So approach speed of 136, VREF of 131. And it's telling us for Bristol we need auto brake max. And that's correct because it's a very short runway. But in fact we could probably get away with auto brake 3 because we will vacate at the end of the runway effectively. So we'll go auto brake 3 and full reverse. There you go, live demo of VATS Airplane Toolbox. MPS Gaming says if we use Rex weather we get okay live weather without crash to desktop. Correct, so far at least. This is a live test to see if the workaround is actually working. Can you change the weights in the profile of VATS Airplane Toolbox to match pmdg? You know what, I've never tried it, I don't actually know. But it's free to use VATS Airplane Toolbox, so you can download it and give it a go. Hello, by the way, Neil. Hope you're well. Dirty2 says that does the Toolbox have performance data for the BA1464? Let's have a look. 2 seconds. I'm just going to load it back up. I'm going to have a little search around on it. BAE. No, it doesn't. Yeah, unfortunately not. Bristol approach just came online from David. Fantastic. Neil says turn the packs off on finals. Right, it does work with MSFS. Yeah, we've been using it with the pmdg 737 since its release. It works really well. Thanks to Doctor on Board, one of our channel members. He's the one that sort of sent it my way and said, take a look at this. This is going to be really good for you using it on the 737. Monty, unfortunately, Rex Weather is payware. It's varying prices on different online stores. But through my research today when I was purchasing it, if you go to justflight.com, it's only 14 quid. If you go to Orbex, it's £21. If you go to Aerosoft, it's about 20 quid. Yeah, so get it through the Just Flight website, and it's £14.99, I think, to be precise. And it's even better. We've got a 71 knot headwind. Good grief. Eddie, it's called VATS Airplane Toolbox. It's how we do our performance calculations for the 737. We need to... Wow, top of descent in over about 120 miles. Let's pull the descent winds forecast. EGGD ATIS is online as well. Oh, it's Will. Fantastic. Hello, Will, if you're watching. Now I think the transition's 7.5 and QNH 1012. And then arriving into Bristol, runway in use is 27. I'm not going to bother with a transition, don't want them, but we want the Dawley 1 Bravo arrival. And we're going to flick over to plan mode, but while we do that, I'm going to go and use VATSIM radio once more. Again, it's linked in the live stream's description. It's free to use. Really good. We're going to click There we go. Gatwick, sorry, Bristol ATIS. Let's click it and go to the active box. See if we get. Look at that. One click. Bingo. Frequency change. Collimator, no, it's a separate program that's giving us the photogrammetry, buddy.
Bristol information. Acknowledge receipt of information, Charlie. And advise aircraft type on first contact time 1350 Zulu. Automatic.
We'll leave that discontinuity there because it's there correctly, if that makes sense. We'll leave it there.
Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Keyword 900 feet. Broken 2,100 feet. Broken 2,900 feet. Temperature +1.
And change back to Unicom, we just click it. Awesome. And then one click of a button down the bottom, 1228. Now we're about 100 miles from top of descent. Let's think about what we need to do. David says if you click on the ATIS label you get text ATIS. Okay, let's demonstrate that. This is great. I'm learning loads about this. If we click on the ATIS label, which will be that. Oh, look at that, folks. So we can literally just read it right on the screen. I can now show you guys the ATIS. Information Charlie. Runway news 27, transition flight level 75, surface wind 170 at 6. So we've got a whopper of it, a decent crosswind. And Bristol's known for a bit of wind shear and turbulence on approach anyway. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Few clouds 900 feet. Broken 2,100 feet. Broken 2,900 feet. Temperatures +19, dew point 18 degrees Celsius, QNH 1012, threshold elevation 601 feet. Click the little X. How cool is that? David A's landed at Bristol. Did you have online services switched off, or were they still switched on? 650 for that. Yeah, there we go. Like Mark's saying there, David, fantastic work for creation of VATSIM radio. Really, really good tool. MPS Gaming, sadly it seems that way, yeah. Adam, my thoughts exactly. VATSIM need to work with David to get VSR officially licensed and integrated into VATSIM. Dan, no. That is for a historical VOR out of Ibiza. We're on that topic now anyway, naturally. We will go through... We will go through VATSIM, Navigraph with our approach information now. So we can unpin all of our Ibiza charts. Mark Fan, hello. You joined us just literally a couple of minutes after we've repeated what we've done. So we've downloaded two things. We've downloaded a map enhancement tool which is feeding externally the photogrammetry data into the sim for us. And then what we've done is we have fed real live weather in via Rex Weather. I've purchased Rex Weather for today to try and get around the live weather being missing. Okay, so let's pin these so we're ready. So we're going to approach Bristol via Dawley. Pilots should plan for possible descent clearance as follows. At flight level 70 by the Bristol NDB. Pilots unable to comply must notify ATC as soon as possible. Yeah, we've got some NVIDIA filters on Wally today. A little bit of a tweak as well, testing that. NDB ILS, so from Bristol's VOR we expect a bit of a teardrop procedure, but actually in reality what happens is you'd be vectored from about Exmoor, you'd be vectored up to the approach to join the ILS at the beginning of the glide slope here around 10 DME, around 2,500 feet. So we won't fly this procedure. What we'll do is we'll vector ourselves and we'll announce what we're doing on Unicom unless we've got the controller that stays online for us. Well, Bristol approach has just gone offline, sadly, but we've got Bristol Tower online. Brian, is Rex weather worth it normally? No. Because live weather, for me, in my opinion, works well most of the time. But when live weather or the online data streams into the sim break as badly as they have this week, with everybody just getting insane amounts of crash to desktops and being unable to complete flights, then it is worth it, yes. As a backup, it's probably worth it. So, blue, yeah, that's why we've left the discontinuity. Down here, we're going to set the NDBs. 414 for Bristol. Oops. 414. Transfer it to the active ADF1, sorry. And then we're going to have a look at the ILS frequency. So we know here 11015. 11015 and 110. I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to snap nav2 ILS frequency into the active now, so it saves me one less thing to do nearer the time. And we need to set our courses. So 267, as you can see on the little bubble here at the top of the Navigraph charts, 267 degrees in the frequency, but it's also here near to the glide slope indication, 267. And as a reminder for the 737, we need to set that for nav 1 and 2. So they're both matching. Bristol's known for a hump on the middle of the runway. So if we don't touch down on the touchdown zone, we can hit the bump and we can bump back into the air. It can be quite bumpy and messy. It's a very interesting approach. At the minimum, EasyJet set auto brake max, I think it is. No, auto brake medium on the Airbus as a company directive, and full reverse for landing in Bristol, I think, from what I read a little while ago. Don't know if it's changed. But we're going to go for auto brake 3 today on the 737 and full reverse. And we're going to miss Foxtrot. It's a very narrow taxiway in reality as well. We're going to end up using auto brake 3 because we want to decelerate to slow down right at the end to vacate at Golf X-ray. We'll move forwards a little bit, and then we'll call the follow me car and we'll speak to tower, and we're going to request a specific stand because that's the one that I've tweaked. But I've got a couple of backup charts, backup stands tweaked as well. I'm going to make a list of them actually. 20, 26, 25, 23, 22. I think I did 21 as well actually. What else did I do? I did 26 and Sierra. And I did 28, 29 and 30 I believe. Yes I did. And I did stands 34, 35, 36. So I've got a couple of options available to us in case we do get something different from the controller. Kenzie, it's the top of your screen in Zulu. Does Bristol still have the statics? Yeah, Pilot Plus scenery it does. And then we will deboard using GSX. What we'll do is we'll look at the nav data in here. Exmoor flight level 140, Bryn NDB at 7,000. So the aeroplane's already knowing that that's the constraint in the descent planning that we've just read out a couple of minutes ago. The VNav in this has already got it set up ready to go. Wonderful. We can see top of descent in 110 nautical miles roughly. So we're a bit ahead of ourselves, but it's better to be well prepared and less stressed effectively. Let's add some fixes. We can do runway 27, so we get a fixed ring around the threshold of runway 27, and we'll go for 6 miles and 10 miles. We've done the descent forecast, 93 nautical miles to top of descent now in fact. Happy days. Okay, well, that's our descent prep effectively done. with the exception of our minimums now. So we'll do a... We'll configure for a Cat 2 ILS. 701, which is also 100 feet on the RA, so we'll do Barrow though, which has got a bit more scrolling to do in this instance. And on the PFD in the bottom right, underneath the artificial horizon, you can see we're changing the minimums. 701 is our minimum altitude for this approach that we're going to do. But I'll hand fly the aircraft as soon as I can, the moment I've got visual with the runway effectively. Usually around 1,000 foot I like to disconnect and hand fly it in. That's set. QNH 1012, so we've pre-selected the inbound local pressure, and we're planning around 57.6 tons, I think, roughly estimated. Very crude calculation. 57.6 tons roughly for approach, and that's given us an estimated reference speed there, flap 30, 132. So we can click it, select it, add it in the flaps box there. For those of you not familiar with the 737, we'll go over it all again, especially in preparation for the 737-800 coming imminently. All good to note. It might be your first aircraft, so this is a bit of a crash course in a way. And that's now gone into the bottom left of the artificial horizon there, our reference speeds. Giveaway still open, folks. Dwyer, why is discontinuity left in, he says. Great question. So, we're expecting to vector ourselves effectively from Exmoor, or be vectored. So, I think without approach being online, or Bristol radar, we're going to vector ourselves eastbound towards Yeovilton, north of Yeovilton, and then we're going to vector ourselves to join the ILS around 10 DME at 2,500 feet. That's the plan. It might not work out that way, but we're going to give it our best shot. But we've left the discontinuity in there because if we fly to the Bristol NDB, it allows us to vector ourselves out to do this teardrop procedure. So no, it depends. If you want to delete it, it will give you that teardrop, or you could just leave it in as a way to remind yourself you have to be vectored. If there's expected vectors, then you want to leave the discontinuity in. Like at a lot of SIDS and stars in the US, you're going to get a discontinuity. So like, for example, is it the O'Hare or Chicago 9 departure out of O'Hare or something similar to that? O'Hare 9, something like that. That is take off, fly runway heading, and then you get vectored to your transition out onto your airway. So there is a discontinuity in that SID, and it is there, and it's supposed to be there. So you don't delete it. Sasha, no, there's no more legs today. Did you guys want to see when we arrive the airport editor as I tweak a couple more gates and things like that at the end of oh, look at that time-lapse weather change, epic. As we arrive and deboard and the GSX process is finished, did you want to see the airport editor, or are you not too bothered? We went through it yesterday. We'll roll the winners when we land at Bristol and shut down at the gate. We'll roll the first one at shutdown, and then we'll roll the second winner once GSX has finished deboarding the aircraft. How about that? Dock uses via Bristol 1. What does that give you? Adam, yeah, we do. There's only one. There's one master thread. There's one master thread. Yeah, we'll do the follow me again, Blue. I mean, we can either go through the airport editor live, or I can finish the stream and then begin to record an airport editor tutorial which will become its own little tutorial video to show you how to use it if that's something that even sounds better. Bristol 1 gives you the teardrop, Doc says. Okay, well let's reconfigure and add that, shall we? So, could be helpful. Plan. Then we'll step through. There you go. And there's our fixed rings that we added in a few minutes ago around the threshold. That 10 mile and the 6 mile fixed rings in green there. We'll just come out of plan mode and increase the range once more. Yeah, I'll do a tutorial video afterwards then. So it's a specific video to show you how to do the editor. Eddie, am I a real pilot? Unfortunately not. I wish I was. But no, alas. I was studying for my PPL, but ended up sort of running a little bit short of money, so I've had to postpone it because the price has skyrocketed to almost £250 an hour. Coco, I've done 2 Samos approach tutorials, in fact. Gav's on short final, epic. David's already down as well, successfully. Very nice. David says he's 41 minutes in so far, with online data services switched off, and all is fine for him at the moment. Seems pretty clear. Full of flights, yeah, a couple of people have reported that as well. I noticed when I had Crash to Desktops yesterday, rebooting the sim, I was getting a pop-up saying there is an update available in the Content Manager, but every time I went into the Content Manager, there was no updates. Something's really messed up with whatever they've done in preparation for Sim Update 10. It's really balked something. Let's bring the range in here. 40 miles, that's Bournemouth. John's at Exmoor. Awesome. Gav's had to disconnect. VATSIM, our headphone issues. Blind for ATC. Would I recommend GSX? Yes. I would. It has not been causing the crash to desktops that people have experienced, including myself. It is buggy, but they have committed to improving it over the next 10 years. They have asked for information about how to improve the procedures and suggestions for things that people want to see improved, fixed, tweaked. And I would like to think over time they will uphold their commitment. And there's no reason why they wouldn't. So I really like it. Dan, interesting. Maybe I need to check it again then. 30 miles to top of descent. We'll go to our checklist. So, destination weather obtained. We already obtained that. But let's check to see if it's refreshed. Peter, welcome. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Bronze frequent flyer. Welcome aboard. Blue, I'm not sure if I do. So, Brisolatus, let's click it. Still Charlie, still the same. I would imagine it might change in about 10 minutes. When was this generated? Contact time 1350. It's due to change in a few minutes then. But at the moment it's info Charlie, transition level 75, and it's runway 27. So everything that we've planned for so far, Dolly 1 Bravo, is exactly what we want. Threshold elevation 601 feet. So actually what I might do is I'll round that down. There's just 600 for the pressurization panel there. Peter, if you're in our Discord, then make sure you link your user account in Discord to your YouTube account, and it'll automatically add you into our club members lounge as well. Simon, great to hear. No crash to desktop for him so far, joining the party from Nantes. Neil, hopefully it's raining in Bristol as well. We get to see Rex for the first time doing stuff. Ian, we have, yes. That's what we were using on a departure out of Ibiza. It's a bit iffy on cruise, but it's because it's not loading in the photogrammetry all that accurately at this higher level, I think, from what I understand. Molly Joke saying no longer crashes out the game. GSX never did that. It turns out it was just a matter of really bad, unfortunate timing. Order break 3 set for the arrival. Radios are set. We're going to might as well flick that across as well, 11015, so that's both the ILS frequencies, but to begin with I'm just going to track ADF1, which is BRI, a little bit out of range still for the time being, but that's fine. Course 267 degrees, both set on the MCP for the ILS frequencies. Landing altitude's just done that as well, arrival data's set, and we're going to do a warning recall. We're now going to also set our descent to flight level 70. Or in fact 7,000 feet, because we'll be below transition altitude at that point. So we'll be on the local Bristol QNH. So we'll set 7,000, we're on LNAV and VNAV modes. So when we hit top of descent, the aircraft will begin descent itself. Ah, Jim, thank you very much, buddy, appreciate that. 1 minute of PPL training. Crazy, isn't it? Altimeter set, minimums are set, approach and missed approach have been briefed, and auto brake set as required. If we do declare a missed approach, folks, for this, all we do is we climb straight ahead to 3,000 feet, then as directed. That's it. Nice and easy.
Here's 1 minute PPF
Alan, no, we're not going to do the
Land
teardrop.
shopping.
We're going to self-vector to the approach. Whilst announcing what we're doing on Unicom. Unless we get Bristol approach online, they might vector us anyway. Birdman lives down the road from Lulsgate, spawned in with live weather, which is accurate light rain. Where is the GSX located? S.Vibes is asking. It's in the background. Ozzy says the Google map seems to be better visually and more up to date in the map enhancer. Not tried it. I'm only trying Bing today just because I want to see how it compares against the Bing photogrammetry we already get in the sim when all the online services do work. Top of descent now, folks. Big easy, yeah, absolutely. And on flightsim.to there's already a load of profiles on the GSX at the moment, enhancing a number of custom sceneries to make it work really nicely, so increasing that level of immersion a little bit more. For 30 quid for something that's going to be improved over the next 10 years, I think that's a good piece of value right there, and if it doesn't offer the immersion that we enjoyed yesterday, I don't think that's a bad price. I think it's just really unfortunate it released at the same time the Xbox gaming services just went properly poo-poo. That is some horrendous textures below there, isn't it? Ugh. S.Vibes, GSX is not in the sim market or MSFS market. It is only available from FS Dream Team's website directly at the moment. Dpod, I guess Google Images, but personally I just use the one I prefer. I'm not too bothered about matching the liveries to be exactly as per the real aircraft in real life. Joey, yeah, FSX, isn't it? Madness. When we get lower, the level of detail will get better. Ryan, that's unfortunate. 20-30 minutes, Pug? Not sure. It's on the top of your screens. I can't see that, sadly. Dwell, thank you, buddy. Really appreciate the super chat there. Very generous. And you're most welcome.
Paying for the excellent community investigative work from yesterday.
Ian, wow, I remember that. Roller Coaster Tycoon. That, yeah, you know what? You're not far off wrong. These are the same water effects. God, that makes it sound really bad, doesn't it? Good grief. Cosmo saying, where's that water texture coming from? About 1992, I think. So just got to monitor everything basically through the descent, monitor the systems, monitor the aircraft, monitor the depressurization, which is already happening. Got to make sure that's all staying nice and normal, and the fuel's looking rather oddly unbalanced actually. So I'm going to turn crossfeed on for a minute. Tank 2 is the fullest. It's a bad time to do this really. We've instigated that master caution. I just want to try and balance these tanks out a bit more. But I know we're descending on idle at the moment, which is not ideal because the fuel flow is going to be really low. But for the whole descent, I think we'll just leave it on crossfeed, see what happens. They don't make them like that anymore, do they, Dasno? You know what, I used to love Roller Coaster Tycoon, and remember Airline Tycoon as well. Really cartoony graphics. And used to sell, yeah, duty free was like cigarettes and booze on the plane. Gav, well done, nice one. So we know Bristol Tower 11385 is our tower controller frequency. So let's actually add that into our COM1 standby frequency using VATSIM radio. Gatwick Tower. So what we can do, we can click it, the frequency, it will go straight into the active box, but in this instance we're going to click the little hamburger icon and we're going to click COM1 standby. And there it is, 11385. Down the bottom there. Happy days. So all we've got to do when we get closer is just flick the transfer box across. Job done. Oh, Vash, yeah, hopefully not. Nick, hello buddy, welcome. So for today's flight, we've installed GSX yesterday. So we've used GSX normally in Ibiza. We've injected photogrammetry using an external freeware program mod. We've purchased and downloaded Rex Weather to inject live weather. And we're using VATSIM radio. And we've almost got all the way to Bristol. So this is the furthest we've been able to get in a week. Touch wood, but I won't jinx it and say the rest. We've got to wait till we shut down on stand the other side, if we get that far. If we do, I would be 100% certain if you turn your online data services off inside the MSFS menus, you'll be able to complete a flight. but you'll have no live weather, no photogrammetry, etc. Hence why we need to inject it externally today using different add-ons and things like that. It's a bit of extra work, but as a backup, I don't mind it too much. It's just down to Asobo to fix. And yeah, Dan, using LRM with FSU IPC7 as well. Version 7.3.7, I think, for that, ironically. Now, it's a lot of add-ons, isn't it? And that's not even then taking into account Spotify, Navigraph, Volanta, the Luke Air tool, the streaming software, and vPilot as well.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that's the default. So we've got a landing announcement, that'll do. For Jet 2. Welcome back, Neil. It's a bit more of an improvement in the tank rebalancing. 1.86. I want to get it a bit closer to 1.81. It is within limits now. I think 700 kilograms is the maximum amount allowed. Neil, lots and lots of tweaking and changing settings. Took me a little while. Exmoor in just 20 nautical miles now. Max 250 knots. No, 267 in course 2. Although, good job making me check. Always nice to double check these things. Ian's looking for routes with overcast skies so he doesn't have to look at the ground. Yeah, well, it's starting to improve for us. It's not incredible, but it's better than nothing, isn't it? Juliet, it certainly does. It certainly does. We've had to put a bit of work in injecting stuff externally, photogrammetry and live weather, but we're able to use GSX to the max. And well, yeah, Doc, you make a good point there. There's no such thing as 367 degrees because it stops at 360. That's a great point. Not too much longer, folks, to enter the giveaway today. iniBuilds new Ibiza airport scenery releasing very, very, very soon. We've got 2 copies to give away today. We'll draw the winners when we land. First of all, when we shut down the engines, we'll draw the first winner. Then we will do GSX deboarding. We'll get all the punters off. We'll get all the cargo and everything off. And then at that point we will draw the second winner as well. If you've not yet entered the giveaway, all you've got to do is make sure you're subscribed and then answer the following question correctly, and that is, what is the ICAO code for Ibiza? Don Jetty, welcome, good choice. Great to have you here with us today. Hope you're enjoying the stream, folks, as well. Everyone else watching. 165 likes so far. Really appreciate that. Means a lot. It's great to be back. We've had a horrendous week last week with all sorts of technical issues. Now I'm going to put the pumps back on because we're pretty much level. Give them a second. And we're going to turn the crossfeed off. Keep an eye on the engines. We'll recall the master caution. Make sure the fuel warning light stuff doesn't come on again. And it's good. Bristol traffic, Janex 14 Yankee Oscar is 10 miles south of Exmoor inbound for the Dawley 1 Bravo arrival. Information Charlie expecting ILS 27. We're going to self-vector eastbound from Exmoor towards the ILS. Bristol traffic. Max Bree, hello. Have you gone into your start menu and started QATL? If you have, check your little system tray at the bottom right of your Windows where your time and your date is. Click into that, have a little look. If you can see the little snake icon for QATL, right click it, click restart, and then wait for a couple of minutes, or a minute or so, for it to download the cache for your airport effectively. So it's trying to learn and map how the airport layout is to provide the services nicely. Then try and activate it again. If you go to the system tray and you find that the QATL program isn't there, the little snake icon thing isn't there, then it means that your antivirus or your firewall is blocking the program, which is why it's not working. 20 mile for the range. Fuel's good, 3.6. We've done the auto brake. I'm not envisaging the need to use anything else at the moment, like spoilers. We're going to go vertical speed mode. We'll go 1,200. And we're going to go to heading select mode. And we're going to aim towards the outside edge of the 10-mile fixed ring, which is almost 090. Bristol traffic, Janex 14 Yankee Oscars, leaving Exmoor, heading 090, descending to 7,000 feet, QNH 1012, Bristol traffic. Ryan, you know what? I can't remember if I reinstalled them or not, and then uninstalled them after GSX. So let me just check inside my MSFS folder to see if it's in there still.
10 miles from Exmoor on the Dawley 1 Bravo arrival.
You know what? I've still got RX Europe installed, and it didn't cause us any issues today in Ibiza. We will see what it does when we get to Bristol. Clash, one's a Neo, one's an older A320 with a bit more nice juicy stuff. And one's payware, one's freeware. We'll continue down to 3,000 feet, I think. We'll roll the dice with this one. Where's our banana? Hey, that's looking pretty good. But let's set a runway course as well. We'll do 085. That should bring us in a bit neater. Yeah, you should turn it off. You don't want RX installed if you're going to use GSX. It's just something else that risks becoming a problem, so I would probably remove it if I didn't. Let's get rid of the music. We're going through 10. Landing lights, runway turn off lights, seatbelt signs go on. Logo lights are back on again, and cabin's depressurizing nicely as well. Cool. Don't need to faff around with anything else just yet. Let's get rid of the speed brake.
Bristol traffic from J3, Lima Echo is giving Expo, heading 090, expecting ILS 27.
Well, there's Bristol. That's the photogrammetry mod, I think, doing something funky. Hopefully it's not now broken. If it is, we've got a real problem. That's a worry, isn't it? There's Bristol there. God, I hope to God this is not now broken. Steep descent after Bristol 1 November, that's fine, we can clear that, it's not relevant to us. We're going to go to the approach page. Going to flick this across. God, you know what? I think we've just broken the photogrammetry, haven't we? Has anyone used the MSFS 2020 map enhancement? Anybody know what's just happened there? I basically just refreshed the program. Right, let's turn it off proper, and then we're going to go back in and find it. MSFS map enhancement tool. Let's restart it. Okay, well I've restarted it. Fingers crossed. Through transition. Yeah, Dan, weirdly enough, I spawned in okay though.
Traffic.
No manual cache. Where's that? Can't see it. It's now clear anyway. It's got 850 or 800 foot per minute now as well. Big glitch in the matrix. Well, I've restarted it. Restarted the program now. Don't know what happened there though, very odd. Hopefully the ground isn't missing. Left 060. And we're into pea soup. Okay, I mean, look at that haze. Rex weather loading in though. It looks pretty cool. It is. We've now switched to Google Map, folks, as well. I've switched out of Bing and I've gone to Google Maps. Seems we've restarted the program. I thought, why not? It might wipe the Bing stuff and then start again. We're going to go to flaps 5. Down to 180 knots. Sorry, yeah, flaps 5. Down to 180 on the speed, 1,000 below. 045 degrees. Spoilers off. Let's arm the spoilers. That's all looking good. 132, 137. Oh, for goodness sake. No idea what that is, or if we're going to make it. But this is a bit of a guinea pig flight, isn't it? Let's face it. We just need to work out what to do if it doesn't work. And I've not thought that far ahead, or even thought that could happen. I spawned into Bristol earlier to test the photogrammetry mod, and it worked fine. Let's go left 360. Bristol traffic, Chanex 14 Yankee Oscar. It's northbound 360 degrees for the ILS runway 27. We'll change to tower on 113.85. Bristol traffic.
Bristol traffic, easy 7 o'clock and keep passing 3,500 on the VATSIM 1 X-ray departure, Bristol.
Traffic. Traffic.
Heck. Well, we don't get photogrammetry for some reason. Yeah, when it asks for runway conditions, just say yes. That's quite a good way of doing it, isn't it? 11385, so we'll tune to tower in a second. Barris, pretty much, yeah. $2,500 is coming up.
Q1 Tango, the surface winds 170 degrees at 8 knots, runway 27, clear takeoff. Clear for takeoff 27, Comjet 21 Tango.
300 degrees, 30 degree intercept. We're now arm approach mode. Lap 10. I mean, I have no idea what that is. It looks horrendous. I don't know if we're going to fall through the face of the earth. That's the worry. Oh. Maybe it's just slow to download. Or it's an maybe it's an LOD thing and it's gone, oh, there's an airport there that you're going to land at. We need to increase the LODs. Perhaps. Here we go. Bristol Tower, good afternoon, Chanex 14 Yankee Oscar. Information Charlie, we're at 8 miles, established runway 27 ILS.
Chanex 14 Yankee Oscar, Bristol Tower, good afternoon. The surface winds 170 degrees at 8 knots, runway 27.
It's fixed. Clear land, runway 27, Chanex 14 Yankee Oscar. Lap 15. Oh, look at this emissives now. Wow, wow, wow. 1, 2.
Over to Unicorn, Comjet 21 Tango, thanks for the ADC.
Go around to 3 is set. CMDB engage. Speed brake is armed. We're going to go flaps 30. In increments, that's speed good, flap 30 is now selected, and that's our landing configuration ready to go. Go around altitude set. And the glide slope's now active. I love how it's taken 3 hours and then somebody's just noticed the call sign was wrong. Wiljet, thank you very much, buddy. I've just corrected that. Not at any point. 132. We want 137 for approach. And we're going to now settle into final approach. 2,000 feet, geared down, 3 green, flaps are set, auto brake 3. Into Pilot Plus Bristol. We fired up GSX. And the white tile of doom has now disappeared. Thank the Lord. Praise be Jesus Christ. Those of you who remember Clum Fly with me from years back. Omar, welcome. Somebody's called, what is it, 70 foot per minute, 85 foot per minute, 97 foot per minute, 102. Good guesses, I'll try. Okay, throttle's mine. Speed's good. Autopilot off. My controls. We'll hand fly the rest from 1,500 feet. 800 foot per minute at the moment for rate of descent.
1,000.
Bit more power. All of a sudden we've just had a bit of sync. That weather's changed.
Kilo on a 9-mile flight level for runway 27.
Easy 1 Striker, Kilo Bristol Tower, hello, continue approach runway 27, your number 2.
Continue approach and number 2.
This is Google map data now, I believe, feeding in. Oops, let's kill this throttle. Davide, I'm not sure actually. I thought it was. Otherwise, I'd like to think it wouldn't be available, but or at least for mass use. I know there's a whole load of terms, conditions, and things that they've added in.
300.
3 America, Bristol Tower, hello, continue
It's a
approach runway
6-knot
27,
crosswind
your number
straight across the
3,
aircraft.
reduce the speed to 160.
100.
Continue approach runway 27 after 3 and descending.
There's the bump, looking at the end. Idle early.
10.
The heck? I even heard screams. That was loud. Anyway, reverse green. Doesn't help the runway goes uphill. Let's kill the reverse. We're going to come off manual brakes. Or onto manual brakes, rather. You know what I've just thought could have been the issue with the hard landing there? Look at the terrain. It's the Google Maps issue. Maybe. Clashing with the scenery. Oh, good grief, yeah, look at this ramp. So that's the problem. Oh my god. How are we going to do this?
You want to direct a kilo to the surface winds
Power.
170 degrees at 8 knots, runway 27, good land.
Oh my god. Well, I hope you got your crash settings off, folks, if you're using this. So let's request some stands. Chanix 1 for Yankee Oscars vacated at Golf X-Ray. Request stand 37, please.
Chanix 1 for Yankee Oscar, taxi stand 37 via Golf.
Stand 37 via Golf, Chanix 1 for Yankee Oscar, thanks. So, parking. Follow me. Select handling operator. Menzies. They can come off, they can come off, they can go on, and taxi lights go to the on position. Let's get the APU on. Probes off. 2 minutes for the follow me car. Good grief, really. It's not Kimi Raikkonen driving today then.
Tower Easy 66 with you fully established. ILF27 at 9.5 miles.
That's all good.
Hello, continue approach runway 27 number
Terrain,
3.
traffic off.
Continue number
1
3,
minute
Easy
to go
66.
for him. Lolo's asking about GSX working. It is. It's working quite nicely. Flaps up and spoilers are retracted as well. You know what? I'm so glad that that has appeared and fixed itself. Here comes Kimi Raikkonen. We've got an EasyJet's just taxied, or just landed, sorry. He's just going to vacate in a second. But here we are. We made it, folks. The first full flight that I've been able to complete in a week or so because of the crash to desktops. And we are using Rex weather and GSX. Follow me's arrived. So we're going to begin by not trying to race him and close him down, but we're just going to try and match him for speed. It's around 10-12 knots.
Really the surface winds 170 degrees at 8 knots, runway 27.
There we go. Once we reel him in a little bit, he'll start to move. Neil, I didn't see a prediction for the landing rate, no. Andy, that's not good. What happened? Did you have any sort of weird behaviours for online services switched on, or did you have it all switched off, buddy? I think that's the hardest landing I've ever done in the 737.
you want to kilo up to Bristol, or have you got a parking choice?
No, anywhere you like, thank you.
One track kilo, Roger, taxi golf, stand
Online
38.
services, Faris.
Golf
Yeah.
stand
Oh,
38.
Neil, 549. Ye of little faith. Although you seem to be pretty bang on the money today. 458 foot per minute. I wouldn't say that's too bad. I'm going to blame the photogrammetry differences because we're using this as a bit of an emergency backup today. Why not? There's the TUI 737-800 coming very soon to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Can't wait for the pmdg 737-800. It's going to be epic. Let's get the music. DJ.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're sure you can't wait to enjoy your holidays, but don't stand up just yet.
Rather, standing and waiting.
I don't know, to be fair, the runway looked very extreme on the bump. I used to fly at Bristol as crew, so I know how the incline in the bump is, but as Dust is saying, wouldn't have had such a hard landing in an Osprey Airways flight.
Bristol taxi stand 3-4 Virgo.
Stand's coming up, and we're going to put GSX to practice with a... Oh, look at that. They're all in the position that I've asked them to be in as well. Ready to receive. So taxi lights off, we're looking at him, he's indicating left and giving us a left arrow telling us we're turning left.
Aircraft type 320, clearance please from the front shot. It's 6245 Bristol, hello, clearance is the front shuttle, X-More 1 X-ray, squawk 0471.
We've now got a tug, but also a marshaller on a big ladder.
6245. 6245, correct.
That's marshalling us in. There we are. He's given us the signal to receive. He's wanting us left. We'll keep going left until he tells us to go straight. There we are. He's probably going to get us to correct right again. Or she. Yep. Just going to slow the speed down. Now I've configured the stop bar here.
Bristol Tower, hello, continue approach runway 27, number 2.
Let's see if I've got this right. Yeah, the tug I didn't expect to be there. That's a new thing that's appeared, I don't know why. So it's something I'll just have to bear in mind. Please cut engines. Part brakes now selected. APU gens go on. Gonna quickly put APU bleed on as well. Engines go off. Anti-collision lights on. We'll clear the master caution. You parked a bit too far. So is this a bug? No, it's just a slightly misplaced stop bar there. So it's little tweaks that I need to make to the parking location. But if you zoom out, you don't notice it. It actually looks pretty accurate, doesn't it? So we're going to request deboarding.
66 welcome to Bristol taxi stand 35 by golf. Taxi stand 35.
The rear stairs of this one's here that I've put. So I'd like to think they're going to move around the wing, but I haven't tried it, so I don't know. I'd like to think it moves around the cone, the footprint. And the way I've tried to position them is that they kind of go to natural positions. There we go, look at that. Away from the ramp to not interfere with the aircraft. Same with the tugs, same with the baggage carts. They're parked off in the distance there. The headset icon, Sergeant Lobster, is VATSIM radio. Let's draw the first winner, by the way, folks. The correct answer, of course, was at Lima Echo India Bravo for the giveaway. Good luck to everybody who's taken part. 153 entries so far. And the first winner is Jim Coselius. Congratulations, buddy. You've won the first copy of the new iniBuilds Ibiza scenery. I appear to have spawned it, or somebody seemed to have spawned with the engines roaring next to me, which is quite exciting. We're waiting for the Menzies coaches now. If you do get drawn as a winner today, of course, you've got 24 hours to get in touch with us, either via direct message on Discord or indeed via email at brishavgeek1@gmail.com. But I see Jim's in the live chat, so do drop me a message on Discord, buddy, and we'll get your details passed over to our friends at iniBuilds. Crikey, I tell you what, that plane's loud, isn't it? Let's move around to the other side. The giveaway entry period sadly is closed, Benjamin. Look at that. Here come the coaches.
Report ready to taxi, November 173.
6 Bravo 1 Bristol, taxi stand 39 Zargo.
Let's see. Now the doors come open. This is so exciting. We've still got one more copy of the iniBuilds Ibiza scenery to give away, folks, so do stay tuned. Just a couple more minutes, we'll get the pack. Guys, I'm back. Sorry, I'm not really sure what happened there. Some technical issues. Suddenly my sim has completely crashed to desktop. Well, not even beyond that, to be honest. It seems to have just unmuted itself as well. Or it seemed to mute itself on the reboot, bizarrely. Which is really, really strange. Now, I don't know what's happened. A really bizarre blue screen of death. In short, I've just gone onto Nightbot, and it's pretty much... Well, it's wiped everything that we've just been doing. So obviously we've just drawn Jim as a winner, as the first winner of 2. I'm going to have to work out another method, effectively, to get you guys the opportunity to enter to win the second prize. So if you're over on Discord, head to Discord. We're going to set up a giveaway to win that second item over there, probably on the announcements thread or something like that. So in the meantime, we need to obviously try and work out what's just happened there. And I think it's in here somewhere, isn't it? Is it Event Viewer? We'll try and debug what happened there, but GSX was working beautifully, really nicely. 1607. Well, that was yesterday. No, that was 2 days ago. This computer has been rebooted from a bug check. The bug check was 0 times 0000001E. A dump was saved in C Windows memory dump. That's bizarre. It doesn't really tell you very much, does it? Let's face it. Let's go and find that Windows memory report. Windows... Where is it? C Windows / memory dumps. It should be a file down here then. Memory dump. I've got Windows debug preview. Let's use that. I wonder if it's something to do with that photogrammetry mod that we were using when it lost the tile around Bristol, perhaps, and then it's gone in and created something else. It's got confused and maybe lost the memory check or something. So perhaps that program that was running to give us the Windows access is denied. All right, well, let's just copy, whack it somewhere else, shall we? Whack it in the D drive. I will use and abuse my administrator privileges. Do I have a focused image in my blue screen of death? I very quickly had to take one. Oh wow, that's a shocking image, isn't it? I didn't have long to grab the image. It was something like K something, but I can't remember what it was now. That's annoying. Open dump file. Yeah, Dan, everything else is what I've used in the past. Rex, obviously I've not used that before, but I'd like to think that's not causing a blue screen of death. Who knows? Let's go analyze. What did it say just then? Oh my good grief, there's a lot to this. Windows 32K full, it says there. Lots of not present in the dump file messages. Loads of them, good grief. Okay, this is the very top. Kernel version something. This is a very common bug check. Usually the exception address pinpoints the driver or function that caused the problem. Always note this address as well as the link date of the driver and image that contains this address. Well, how do you find out the address? Yeah, I'm using a USB headset indeed, but it's the one I've used for 2 years. VATSIM UK, maybe it's the taxiways we vacated that broke the PC. There's a massive amount there. It just says Windows 32K full stat commands. I don't know what any of this means, to be honest, but I guess we could debug it in Discord at some other point. But yeah, Schutz is saying there, I think we're just going to be looking into the wind in this case. Gonna have a faff about anyway, but yeah. We'll see what we do. We're going to run that usual stuff like we did the other day. DISM checks, SFC scans, all that sort of thing, just to see if we can maybe work out what could have been causing it. Who knows? But yeah, unfortunate end to the stream, frustratingly, but I don't really know what else to go on from here, to be honest. Up until that point, GSX was working wonderfully. Really nice to have that back fired up, ready to go and working again. And we were able to complete a full flight for the first time in a long time as well. So it's about time, isn't it? It looks like it's something to do with the online data function within Microsoft Flight Simulator. Hopefully it's not hardware related, Faris. The RAM is new in the rig as well, like you said. The motherboard's relatively new. It's about 8 months old. But yeah, we're going to work through a load of stuff and see what we can find. Thank you very much for watching though. We're going to head over to Discord to prep the giveaway for the second copy of the iniBuilds Ibiza scenery as the backup for this giveaway, being interrupted halfway through the draw by a blue screen of death on Windows, rather bizarrely and rather suddenly as well. So I can only apologise for that. We will have a little look there. We're going to prep the next couple of live streams. It's going to be in about 5-6 days away, likely in the weekend ahead of us coming up. So enjoy the week ahead, folks. It looks like the pmdg 737-800 is a matter of days away as well. So watch this space. Very exciting if it does arrive before the weekend, and if not, it's going to be the weekend coming up, I'd like to think. But stay tuned, keep an eye out on the channel. If I'm not at work, I'll be looking to do a live stream with it on release day, but if not, might have to wait a few days as well. But as always, thank you very much for watching, folks. Thanks everyone for taking part. Dwyle, Jim, Gav, Honey and John, folks, thank you very much for dropping super chats and tips throughout the journey today. Welcome to Peter for joining us as a member on the channel, and Dan, welcome back for rejoining as a member as well. It's great to have you back with us too. Hit subscribe. If you want to try any of the mods that we've used today, then do check out the links in the live stream's description today, and enjoy the week ahead. Fingers crossed, pmdg 787-800 will be here in a few days. See you in a few days, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.